cuffs are off, man. Get right, too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna...
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here. What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league? Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, don't roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. The first round of the playoffs are done. Hopefully you guys advanced. We'll get into that here shortly. But I'm here with my boy Fishing Frank. He's back from Cancun, man. How was the vacation? What up, Frank? Welcome back. And how did your week 15 go, man? Tell us.
Well, the vacation was awesome, let me tell you. Well deserved. Cancun's the best. If you haven't been, you should go. So much stuff to do. I did some new cool stuff this year. I did some zip lining and I hung up upside down on a zip line. That's kind of crazy.
That's cool.
Got a video of that. Jumped 20 feet into a cenote. You know, with some quads. Went to visit the pyramids. All kinds of cool stuff, man.
Awesome. Awesome, man.
And I made playoffs. You know, I'm 5 leagues this year. I don't do as many leagues as Anthony. I was in the playoffs for 3 of the 5, and then you know, it didn't work out for me this week, man. Unfortunately, I just went down.
All 0 for 3?
No, just one of them. The other ones
okay.
I didn't even play this week. The other ones I'm on first week bye, so it didn't even matter.
Oh, okay. I was like, no way. 0 and 3.
One of them I lost. I put a little side bet on it, and it was just you know, I had a couple guys just do me dirty, man. Just do me dirty. Give me literally zeros. You know, and whatnot. You know what I mean? You can't win when
Brutal.
you're getting zeros. So it's not a time to, anyway. So
guys like Bijan, 0.4?
0.4. He's another one of those guys. Dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He's finally going off. You finally trusted him. And I've been rolling with him the whole year. He's your number one draft pick. Went with the bumps and bruises the whole time. And I'm like, yes, we're finally getting into the fantasy playoffs. He's playing well. We're going to start him with confidence. 0.4, dude. Come on, now. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Say who else?
I can't with it. You know what I mean? Another one was the tight end. I got to think of his name right now. Dawson Kincaid. I had to look it up real quick. Another one, straight up fat 0 with that whole blowout with Dallas. Anyways, that pissed me off. Anyways, I was like, this guy can't eat. These other guys are doing all kinds of other stuff and stuff like that. You know, they were mostly put in for blocking, obviously, because that's what they did. They ran the ball a lot. So it just kind of hurt me there. Those 2 guys really did me dirty. Bijan and Dalton Kincaid did not help my cause whatsoever. I think if I even had some decent points on those, the score would have been, a little bit closer. It was 16-point difference that I lost by, and I think I would have made that gap easily, 10 and 7 or something. You know what I mean, from both of these guys to get the win. Or 15 from Bijan and 5 from this guy. It would have got me 20. I would have got the win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, there's so many ways that I could have just.
Is he going to be on Frank's do not touch list anymore because of that now? Or
it is
okay?
Because I realize it's not him. I realize it's coaching. I realize it's a lot of other things that are going on around him. If that wasn't the case, you know what I mean? Like, he's done for life.
Right.
Even Dalton Kincaid, I'm not too upset about it. I mean, it is game script, or who knows? I don't know why he wasn't involved. He was being involved all the other games. The other guy that I had available to play, I just decided not to play him. He had a better game, but he was just coming back from injury. A lot of questionables over there in Houston, so I just didn't start him. So it just kind of hurt, man. But it is what it is. I still got. It was in first place in one of the leagues, so I still got plenty.
Yeah, you and I are playing. You and I are playing.
Yeah, so
next week in that one
to get some some rings and belts still. I still got 2 more leagues to go. I think in the 3 out of 5 is not bad to make the playoffs. And unfortunately,
over
this is the first
50%.
round loss, man. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Again, Bijan 0.4. Like, come on. That's my rant for the day. Let's move on. Let's go.
There you go. All right. So on my side of it, man. So I mentioned last week, you know, I have basically 6 out of my 7 paid leagues. I made the playoffs and actually had the playoffs clinched by week 13. So week 14,
Look at this
literally, I
guy
was basically
freaking
on a bye.
straight
I
up.
had
How many did you say?
6 out of 7 paid
Damn,
leagues.
look at this guy.
And the one paid league I didn't make money in, it was a tanking dynasty league that I'm in a rebuild in, that I'm getting a top 2 picks in a 2 QB. So I'm either going to get Caleb, Drake May, or Marvin Harrison Jr. So to me, that's a win.
It was a purposeful tank, so you knew you were doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I was so technically I feel like I won. I mean, I don't have a chance at a ring, or a championship, but you know, so 6 out of 7 is not bad. And then of my 16 total leagues, I made the playoffs in 10 total leagues. 2 of them I had a first round bye. The other 8 I played this week, and I went 4-4. So 50%. I mean, not bad. I made a total rookie move on one of my leagues. You know, the problem of being in 16 leagues, I left Chris Olave in. Had I started either of the 2 guys on my bench, Noah Brown or JSN, with that touchdown at the end,
right?
yeah, I would have won. So that's just a rookie move. I lost in that one, so that sucks.
That comes with like you just called it. It's having too many leagues, and
yeah, I thought I'd switched Olave out because I have Olave on several teams, and I took him out on all of them except for that one team for whatever reason. Like,
see, I did the opposite. I did a little
whatever.
bit too much overthinking on the one league. I put money on the side on it, and it just came back to bite me in the butt, man. I was overthinking it altogether. I was just like,
what up, boy?
I should have just left the guys that I was starting with. I even changed the defense, and the defense I should have not made any changes. I kept rolling with my team the way it was rolling.
Actually,
I was actually starting Kincaid, and it was just.
Oh, you picked up the Philly defense that I dropped, and you were like, "Why'd you drop him?" You picked them up and started them, so I actually felt like I cost you the win there.
No, but that wasn't it. I mean,
it was a 6 point. Yeah, it was Bijan's fault.
And Kincaid, both of those.
Yeah.
Guys. Kincaid with 0. I mean, I'm happy with 4. I don't need you know what I mean? Like, I don't need a big day from the guy.
And you played against Ty Chandler, which was brutal. 24
Yeah, that
points.
was brutal right off the bat. He was like, I was like, what the hell?
Had he just got 10, you would have won.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere, dude. Come on, that guy's never scores that kind of.
And we'll talk about him a little more here shortly, I'm sure. He may not be getting your game ball.
I know.
But that's good stuff.
But he's definitely.
But yeah, we got Neanderthal. Oh yeah. So anyway, so I just got I went 4-4, but I have 6 teams still playing next week. So there we go. So Neanderthal says he scraped up a win, man. He hope his team shows up next week against you. I assume me. And what happened to the Eagles? They done fell off. So we're gonna get into that Monday night recap here shortly.
Yes.
It's been a good week here for me. We saw Warrior Lofton here saying what's up. Just getting back to these. Ray W. Hopefully he's not asleep yet. He says, why is it so late? He's old and tired. We're old and tired too, man. But we got all this stuff going on, so that's why we're here. But we appreciate you coming out and supporting the show, my guy. We got Brooks, aka 7 Rings, in the house. Loving it. He's making a lot of playoffs with his teams. He also had 2 teams with the first round bye. He was just telling me. We got Recon in here saying, what's up, Rasta? Remember me from last stream? I do, sir. Welcome back. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for us. If you already subbed, that like button helps out just as much. We got Brocow in the house saying, what's up, fellas? He says, I'm a little behind on the stream, but I feel you. He said he had 32 teams this year. Way too many. Never again. So are those best ball leagues or like 32 managed leagues? Because
I think these managed leagues.
I would have to assume. Some people count their some people count their best ball. But let me know, Brocow. Not like it's a bad thing one way or another, but if you want to count my best ball teams too on Underdog, and other best ball, I mean, I'm well over. I mean, I think I did at least 52 or 53 on Underdog, and I have several other just best balls like in sleepers. So
you said 52
I think
53. You got one for every day of the week.
Well, it was almost every day in the off season. Like once we kind of started from when we, started doing the show again, like regularly, almost every day I had to feel like I had to get one in, sometimes two, and then you'd go a day or two, without doing one. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
thank you for reminding me. We want to mention to everybody, we do start early. We do start as we're winding down the season. Obviously, we're here in last 2 weeks here in fantasy playoffs. We do start early, and we get the Friday night mocks going literally right after um, the
first week
draft.
after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right after
We do our first
guy.
redraft on the first week after the Super Bowl, and then we take a little break. But remember, we just announced Tycoon from the Fantasy Boardroom now moved over here to Get Right Fantasy Network, and he's going to be doing some Dynasty content for us here in the off season. So we'll be on a little more regular, and may not be that much of a break. We may not be here 4 times a week, but we'll be definitely putting out shows probably once a week, at least. So for all the Dynasty stuff out there. So good stuff, man. Yeah, make sure you guys get with this with our tournament of champions, our mock draft tournament of champions. So yeah, we mock every Friday night, live streamed, give you those grades and feedback, help you put your roster constructions together. And then we do a tournament during the month of August, and it's a lot of fun. So, and we might even have a sponsor for it this upcoming year. So we'll see how it all goes.
Responded, bro, Cal. Bro,
oh, he said only 4 were managed out of the 32.
Himself.
Okay.
He said, "Excuse me, only 4 were best ball."
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, man, that's that was a terrible flex, but okay.
I want to ask the people here. There's a few people on here tonight. What's the right number of leagues to manage? What's your optimal line number? Because I think Anthony's expanded his horizon. What are you up to? 15 right now? How did you say?
16. Yeah, 16 managed leagues this year. Combination of Dynasty and Redraft.
That's a good number of leagues to have, or too many? Do you feel like you can pull back? I think
I liked all the ones I am, only because I made an effort to where not a lot of them are duplicate. They're all different. Like they're all either one super flex, one's 3 wide receiver, one's half PPR, one's full PPR. I actually do play with the defense and the special teams on one of them. You know what I mean? So like
defensive players,
they're all kind of different. One's keeper, several different dynasties that are in different builds. I have a 2 QB league in addition to a super flex. Like one has like crazy scoring where people could score like 500 points in a week. And then I have other ones where like you're lucky if you can put up like 70, so it just, I think because if it was a bunch of just the same league, I think to me that would be boring. But playing in all the different types of leagues and different scoring and trying to kind of master that. And I really have this new affinity with just taking over orphan teams and trying to see if you can, like, one team I took over this year, I literally sold Josh Allen, thought I was in a rebuild, ended up getting 3rd place. I went like 10-4. So like, I happen to have lost this week. I ran up against a couple guys that just went off. But yeah, it was just interesting,
bad games this weekend.
Yeah. It was like I was trying to lose and I'm just like kept winning every week, like because everyone was trying to like out tank me and I just started winning and I was like, oh, so I just pulled off like a couple crazy trades. The craziest thing, now it's probably a terrible trade, but I was trying to go for it and it was, hey, just seeing what I could do. I traded off Jordan Addison and Rashee Rice for like a ton of all the old guys, like Devontae Adams. Yeah, I remember that. Cooper Kupp, like all of them, and they all did good.
Isn't a dynasty guy? Why would you give all those young guys away for
Cooper and all that stuff? It was just 2 guys, but I got like 5 guys, and it's like 3 wide receiver,
and they were getting you points.
Yeah, 3 wide receiver and 3 flex. Yeah, I could start up to 5 of them. So like, it's just one of those things. So yeah, it was a lot of good stuff going on there, man. So yeah, let us know what you guys got going on. So we got Warrior Loft in here with the question saying, he says, rank these: Pollard versus the Dolphins, Mostert versus Cowboys, JT versus the Falcons if he comes back with that thumb issue, CH versus the Raiders, and that's if Pacheco comes back, Zeke versus the Broncos, or Ty Chandler versus the Lions with Madison possibly coming back. So how would you rank these guys?
Give me a second. I'm going through everybody here.
Yeah, no, you're good. So to me, I think it's Mostert. Then I'm going to go Pollard because those are your 2 guaranteeds. And then if these guys were all to play and the other people aren't playing, I think I'm going to go
I think Chandler has a chance regardless of Madison plays or not. I think he's going to take his spot.
Yeah, but I think it'll still be somewhat of a split, but I think he'll still get the majority of it. So I'd go Chandler, then Zeke, then CEH. I think CEH got real lucky, but I expect
Nah.
Pacheco to play out of all these other guys potentially
If
playing. So
Pacheco plays and CEH is back to the bench, but I don't think he got lucky because what's the name had the same almost similar numbers. But let's carries what's his name over there?
yeah, but he made that
Oh,
that incredible throw and that
gotta look
catch
it
on
up
that
right here.
touchdown pass. Like Pacheco doesn't catch passes like that for a touchdown.
No,
So yeah, it's just
'cause I picked up both of them. Jerick McKinnon and
Oh yeah,
CEH. It scored this week 16.10. Well, on the standard scoring, and then Jerick McKinnon got 15.16
yeah.
4 yards, one passing touchdown. Whatever. So it was like that weird play or whatever. You know what I mean? But CEH, I think, is a viable start if Pacheco is out.
That's fair.
So I would
So
take
yeah, so
I
that's
would
my
take
order.
most.
So what's your order? Are you
So I
Mostert
would take
or go
Mostert
ahead?
first. Yeah.
Yeah, so we agree
Even
there.
with again my Cowboys, it just doesn't matter. The guy's been beasting all year long, and you can't
Well, look what James
go in.
Cook just did to you guys this week.
Yeah,
Whew.
I think we're gonna fix that. Work on that.
You better.
Obviously,
It's
well,
terrible.
actually, I'm gonna not to add
You gonna handle Achan and
not to
Mostert?
add any excuses or anything like that because they did play better. The better team won. They did outplay us.
Yeah,
However, like 10 or 12 of the Cowboys were sick during the week with the like basically a stomach illness.
the flu.
Um,
Yeah,
and all of them basically was just going around the locker room. So I'm sure a lot of the guys weren't feeling 100%. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that because
happens.
they did look lackluster. I mean, they weren't. You know what I mean? And it was the whole team. It wasn't just one guy, and that has a lot to do with, the locker room being sick, basically. That kind of help that happens. Anyways,
Yeah.
but
So yeah,
I
yeah.
still roll with Mostert regardless of that, all that, blah blah blah. Right? Pollard did have a pretty decent game, but I'm still not sure if I would run him that confidently. But I mean, he's getting better as the season is progressing now. Like he's finally
Actually, I
getting
think I
the.
would put Chandler over Pollard.
You think you would? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
very
so
good.
I think I'm gonna go Mostert, Chandler, Pollard,
I
JT,
don't
Zeke.
think Chandler's gonna repeat what he did. I think he's the one that got lucky. And I put him behind CEH because I'd go Mostert, Pollard, CEH, Chandler, and then Zeke. That's my order.
All right, there we
Oh,
go.
Jonathan Taylor. I don't think he's playing. Is he playing?
I don't know. We don't know yet with this thumb, but I just said assume they're all playing and the other people aren't playing.
Oh, well, then we have to move JT up more.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. All right, so I put it in my order.
Okay.
We'll move on. We got Brooks here. He's saying he has no bench in his main league. Everyone's injured. It happens, man. He said if Mondre or Christian Watson come back, then great, or else he'd be willing with Jalen Warden and Trey McBride in the flex, having to run that 12 personnel over there with McBride in the flex, which is probably not a bad
Actually, that's a
not a
good
bad
move, man.
play.
That dude's balling
Yeah,
out.
it's not a bad play. So yeah, if you have to,
And
I
Jalen
actually
Warren's
probably I
doing
think I would
great.
start Trey McBride over Mondre or Christian Watson, even if they both were healthy.
Yeah, I would honestly would too.
And I think I'm
McBride's
starting Warren over
like,
him as well.
other than
Najee
him getting hurt in that game for a little while, that dude was he still came back and still did pretty decent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and he
Like,
did get banged up. Yeah.
yeah,
He kind of did
he
us.
was out
They
for
did us on
a
those
couple.
couple drives. Yeah.
Yeah, because
He
then
said
he had
that.
to go into the blue tent, and he had an injury to this like the shoulder or something. He got rolled up on it, like he landed funny. Anyways, go ahead.
Right. So we're saying Broncos came back down to earth a little bit versus a bad Patriots team with a lot of injuries, or does he go Colts versus Atlanta? I'll take Colts versus Atlanta. You know you're going to get a couple turnovers, whether it's Heineke or Desmond Ridder, and it's probably going to be low scoring. I don't know. Minshew has a shootout there.
I still run with the Broncos.
Broncos over Patriots.
Yeah,
Zappy's like throwing for 3 touchdowns, man. No, just kidding.
he's throwing interceptions.
He did
too.
last week.
He's throwing
Yeah,
interceptions too with those 3
that could happen.
touchdowns. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. Recon said he had Josh Allen, Mixon, Swift, Waddle, Jay Jettis, ARSB, Njoku, who balled, Colts D. He whooped the third seed's ass. First year playing fantasy. Listen to all of your advice. I'm giving credit where credit is due. Let's go,
Right.
Recon.
Let's go.
There it is, man. But hey, as much as we want to take credit for you, man, you're the one who still sets the lineup every week, man. I'll never take credit for it. We're just here to talk you through some stuff, give you the information to make sure
Help
you
with the picks, help
you
with
can
the
make
lineup,
the
help with the
best
waiver
educated
wire.
decision you can, man. So But we appreciate the shout out, man. Absolutely. So let's write it. Let's just say, like the thumbnail says, man, 2 more wins to go. So let us know what you guys think too about the new thumbnail. Classic Mike is trying to up his thumbnail game. Yeah, just trying to change things up a little bit. Let us know if it looks a little more attractive. Let us know what you guys think of. Leave a comment on the video if you're watching later, and if you're in the live chat here, let us know what you think. So he says, thank you guys so much. I have a shot of making a run for the championship, so let's get it going. So let's see. How we feeling about Miami defense home against the Cowboys? What else you got out there, Tingley? Because Cowboys, I think, are going to be pissed off, and I think this is just going to be a shootout. Should be good weather.
I think it's going to be a shootout, which doesn't help either defense.
That's what I mean.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just going to be, flying out. Let's see who could score more. Because Dallas could definitely keep up with Miami in scoring.
Yeah, I think it could just be a shootout there. Yeah, got to worry about Jalen Phillips and stuff too.
Yeah, that doesn't help defenses.
There you go. Brooke says he thinks 4 is the perfect number of leagues. That's about where you're at there, Frank. You got 5, I think you said, right?
Yeah, I have 5. I think it's just, and one's a dynasty league, so there's not too much. Like sometimes I don't worry about the waiver wire because there isn't really none. It's really, you know what I mean? Like it's more like, obviously drafting. I think to me, every once in a while there's a guy that comes up, but
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll probably get in at least 4 new leagues next year. Because I do want to play like in either a vampire or zombie type league. I want to play one of those.
I wanted to say that earlier. I forgot.
And I want to also. I need to get in another guillotine league. I played last year. So much fun. I got like 3rd, and then I just didn't get in one this year.
It's going to end sooner, possibly, or whatever. So it's like you have it for a little while. It's a little fun in the beginning when you're like really into it, and you don't want to like. I just try to focus. And I try not to pay attention to my teams and what I got going on. And I think that too many just kind of. It's just too much rattling around in the brain. And you're like, what the hell? How am I managing?
I don't know. I just geek out on it, man. That's my thing. So it is what it is. But we got Recon saying also Seahawks game was crazy for his league. The first seed had Hurts versus the 8th with Devonta. AC only needed 11 points from Devonta, and he dropped 10 with a total of 130 to 131 after that Hurts pick. Oh, man.
That hurt me also.
Crazy. That's crazy. Oh, man.
And it hurt
Brooks said 4 managed.
They didn't keep it running. They didn't. They started to run the ball, try to keep out the clock. I don't know why teams do that. And they kind of hurt him, beat him in the butt. Dude. They went 3 and out. Had to give him the ball back. Next thing they come.
Hold on, save it. We're gonna do the recap here in a second. Save it. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll just get caught up in the chat here a little bit. All right. So Recon says the guy with Smith chucked his phone against the wall, and he's helping his buddy clean up right now. So he thinks that's funny.
That is funny.
So that's good stuff, man. We got George in the house, man. He says he lost Keaton Mitchell. We'll get into that. That sucks. He says, should I pick up McKinnon and Zamir White and drop who's carry on and Charbonnet? I would keep Charbonnet. I don't know who. Or do you mean who is that?
It's
not
McKinnon
Kyron
and Zamir.
That can't be Kyron. You're not dropping Kyron. I don't know about Zamir White. We'll see what happens with Josh's thigh. Josh
Kyron
Jacobs.
Williams. That's not.
It can't be Kyron. Let me know who that is. Let's see. He says he can also pick up Dowdle. He has as a handcuff because he has Pollard. I don't mind doing that.
I don't mind doing that, but I want to know who the other running back is.
You should be fine. He said he hated it this year because I was rooting for and against the same players so many times. He made the playoffs out of 20 and 32 leagues. Well done, Brokow. Well done, man.
Yeah.
There you go. So Warriors Loft saying thanks. Recon saying, do I swap JT for one of these guys to start? Josh Allen, Mixon, Swift, Jettas, ARSB, Waddle, Njoku, and the Colts D. I don't know how Waddle will do once Reek is back. So he doesn't know. So please let him know. So would you, if JT starts, would you start JT over like Waddle if he has him like in a flex?
No. Waddle had a really nice game. I don't think Tyreek's going to be back, right?
Yeah, but he'll probably see Gilmore. He'll probably be on Gilmore, so there's a chance Waddle could eat. Yeah. And your linebackers aren't that great in coverage. That's how we got you guys. So if Walker can work that underneath, like,
He
or that right
Stefan had
behind
a
the.
pretty good game there against DK, whoever it was the other
Yeah.
week.
Well, he'll do the same thing. I mean, no one's going to take out Tyreek, but
Yeah,
you should
that's what I'm saying.
hopefully.
Tyreek is like,
And it's going to be Tyreek with a bum wheel.
then I would
So
definitely start Waddle over him still. You know what I mean? Because he's going to be the
yeah,
guy. He's going to get
he
more
might be more
looks.
of a decoy. He might be a decoy hill. All
Yeah,
right,
he might be
so
Deco Hill running out some routes, and it's just fun to
I think
watch.
we stick with Waddle. You know, what about? I mean, honestly, I'd swap out JT for Swift, man. Swift's you're not getting those touchdowns because they're always going to just do the Jalen Hurts, sneak, or Jalen's going to run it in from the 10. Yeah, when they're going to spread him out and he's going to run in. Like, I would probably start JT over Swift, to be honest. That's what I would do. Now that I relook at that, what do you think?
What did he score this week?
Who?
Swift. What did he end up with? Mixon ended up with 15.1 PPR
Swift
points.
had only 9.5.
Yeah, then I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Swap out JT with Swift.
There we go.
Then you don't have to worry about the other guys.
There we go. Likely versus the Niners or Hawkinson versus the Lions in a revenge game. I'm going Hawkinson for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to play no backup tight end against my Niners D. A little biased opinion, but I mean,
Likely he's getting
Trey
it done
McBride
now.
did just do well, and so I could see how you could think it was done, but yeah, Hawkinson, he's been a top tight end every week. I'm not going to. Hawkinson's got you this far, I'm sure. So just stick with Hawk.
Yeah, that's what start your starters type situation right there.
Yeah, don't try to
Say
get
likely
too
was
deep
not
right
your
now.
starter. He was a waiver wire pickup because the other guy came down, and so
Yeah, you only
although
play him if something happened to Hawk. So yeah,
yeah, exactly. He should be backup guy and keep him as a backup guy.
I mean, I guess I understand he has Mullins and not doing as great without, Kirk Cousins or whatever, but still, he's still doing decent. So he says he has T-Law, Bijan, James Cook, CD, Keenan, Godwin, Ferguson in the semi-playoffs. Does he stand a chance? Everyone is preying on his downfall, so I don't get any prize money. So you probably have to worry about Bijan. If you made it through, probably only because of James Cook. You got to worry about Keenan. Godwin had a nice week this week. CD, is going to be going up against that combination of Xavier Howard and what's his face?
I don't worry about that. He'll get his numbers.
Who's the guy from the Rams and then the Panthers? What's that corner where he tore his meniscus earlier in the year?
Jalen.
It's like Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren.
Wait, not Jalen Warren.
Warren.
That's the running back.
It's Jalen. It's Jalen something. Can't think of his name.
Oh my god! Help us out, chat.
We're gonna have to look up the cornerbacks for Miami.
Jalen Smith? No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Jalen Smith.
No, that's not him. Why can't I think of his name? I know his face and everything. Oh my god. Oh well. It is what it is. But anyway, I think you have a chance. We'll see what happens with James Cook. If Bijan bounces back, you might have to do something at quarterback with T-Law, but we'll see what happens.
Definitely do something with him.
He said we read his man about JT over Swift.
Concussion protocol right now.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, T-Law's in concussion. I think I have that in the news and notes when we eventually get to that here. Bradley Chubb. No, that's the defensive end, like linebacker guy. Talking about the quarterback, Jalen Ramsey. There we go.
Ramsey,
I just had to stop. I just had to stop thinking about it first, and then just say, "Oh yeah, there he is."
I knew you were saying.
Yeah, Jalen Warren just messed me all up. Okay, yeah. So Jalen Ramsey. See, it just came out like perfectly. So there we go. So yeah, Jalen Ramsey is who I was waiting for.
Bradley Chubb's the name.
So there we go. All right, so we're finally caught up in the chat. So there we go. You guys got other questions, or let us know how you're doing, man, in your leagues, what you got coming up. Otherwise, let's finally get into this Monday Night Football recap. You want to know
how many leagues? I'm still interested in how many leagues and how many leagues you made the playoffs, basically. Like,
me?
Not you. I mean the chat.
Oh,
people.
In the chat. Okay, yeah. Let us know how many guys. Yeah.
How many guys are you in the playoffs? You know what I mean? Because obviously you guys. I think that the people who are watching today are in the playoffs. Everybody else is not watching. Probably not in the playoffs anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I look at it. So.
Right. That's why I like playing a lot of leagues, because at least you got chances everywhere too.
Yeah.
So there we go. All right, man. So let's get into this recap. We got Monday Night Football here. We had the Eagles fall to the Seahawks 17-20, 45-point over under. So they were just under that. Eagles were favored by 4 here on the road. And Drew Lock, man, pulls it off. So, of course, just to set it up here real quick, everybody knows, Hurts was kind of not feeling well, under the weather, so to speak, flew in separately from the team to not get anybody else sick, came on a quarantine basically to the game. They said he was going to be active pretty early in the day-to-day. We got that information. The drama behind Geno Smith, they said he was going to be active. People were thinking he was possibly going to be starting. But then before the game, no one saw him, and it literally went right up into the last minute. I actually had to switch him. I switched him in and out of my lineup at least 3 times in one league, because of the different information that was coming in.
You're
And
just
then
second guessing everything you're doing.
yeah,
at that
well,
point.
because they were like, first, oh, he's active, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to put him in, and then they're like, oh, they can't find him, so I took him out, and they're like, oh, okay, well, he is going to be playing, and then they're like, oh no, no one's seen him still yet, and it's like 5 minutes until game time, and no one's saying anything. So I was just like, all right, well, I guess we're going Drew Lock then. So I threw him in there. Ended up getting the W. But yeah, man. So anyway, so there was that whole drama leading up to the game. And it was a pretty awesome game, man. I mean, it went from being 2 backups, Mariota and Drew Lock potentially, to Drew Lock versus Hurts here. They come down, they score right out of the gate. The Seahawks come down, they kick the field goal. They get the ball at half, come down. Just kind of went, back and forth. They held them to the field goals. The Seahawks played some stymied defense. They got that big interception, which was huge when Jalen tried to take that shot to Quez Watkins. Throws the big pick. They go down. I think that's when they got the field goal. And then they go down, score the freaking touchdown. Left too much time on the clock. Only one timeout, and what do you know? Drew Lock pulls it off. JSN for like a 29, 30-yard something touchdown. Safety, bit down and had the over the top and laid it out there, man. Great catch by JSN. Just keeps showing flashes of who he could be. And yeah, man, I'm happy as a Niners fan. Never thought I'd really say it, but thanks Seahawks taking the Eagles down. Gives us a little cushion game here, just in case something gets a little wonky here with Baltimore. To still get this number 1 seed. So very, very happy
Let's go Baltimore.
for the Seahawks to pull this off. So, well, what are your thoughts on this game, man? I mean, I basically said everything, but what do you got?
Yeah. The fun fact, I don't know if this is accurate, but we're gonna have to. Fun fact: the Seahawks haven't lost to the Eagles for the past 15 years.
Wow,
That's interesting.
I'd have to check that out, but that's awesome if that's true.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the kind of stuff we need brought to the channel here.
Like you was like who's gonna start a quarterback over there? Good move on picking up Drew Lock. I guess I don't think you had anybody else out there, right? So you had to do what you got to do on those kind of situations. It was a kind of crazy game. Um, I was just like, how come they're not throwing more? They didn't seem like they were in sync properly, which they haven't been for the last couple of weeks. I don't know. There's just something's going on with the Eagles. The only thing they're getting right is the brotherly shove, which I like that they did one where they like faked it. Basically, they looked like they were doing the brotherly shove, and then he ran on the outside and they even got a hands to the face over there on that same play. Anyways,
Oh yeah.
but that was cool. I mean, it was refreshing to see the difference, and it's cool. He's got 14 touchdowns now on the year for Hertz. And he just gets into the 1 yard line, 2 yard line, and all they do is just like brotherly shove it in, and he's just getting those touchdowns. So I mean, it's nice to have him, but it's almost a waste of the other touchdown because now running back or wide receiver is not getting a look because they get with too close. I'm like, these guys need to stay a little further away so that people can eat. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on.
But even still, they'll spread him out and he'll just run it in.
But that's 3 losses in a row. I mean, they've had a rough stint, though. I mean, they played the Niners.
It could have been like 6 if some of those other games didn't go the other way. Those comeback wins. Imagine if they had a 6-game losing streak right now. That'd be crazy. They're like this close away from that happening. So are they really as good as they say they are? So, man.
They need to straighten some things out over there. Hopefully, they have another comeback game for themselves. I don't care because it just helps the Cowboys, too. So, we lost, they lost. It keeps everything kind of copacetic right now. So let's go from there.
That's right, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge for you guys. And
Yeah.
like I said, gave us a nice little cushion over you guys if we can just win out. But
Yeah.
we have some
You
tough
guys-
games coming
you're
up
just
here too.
Trying to lock in home field advantage, basically.
Yeah, man. Try to have this thing go through Santa Clara, man. Go through the Bay. Let's go. So yeah, I guess that's enough here on that. Let's get into some news and notes here. And we'll try to get through this. But yeah, we can do our reads later at the end. Let's get through it. So news and notes, man. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell says that the quarterback Nick Mullins will be starting Sunday against the Lions. So he comes out those for 300 yards this game. So we'll continue to see more of Nick Mullins. Falcons head coach Arthur Smith said it'll either be Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke as the starter on Sunday. It won't be Logan Woodside or a QB outside of the building. So Ritter's job isn't safe again. Might get benched for the second time here this year in favor of Taylor Heineke. So keep your eyes out on that. Steelers QB Mason Rudolph will start this weekend versus the Bengals. Mike Tomlin makes the switch here. He says, we don't like what we're looking at and the consistency of it. So that's a pretty kind of harsh thing to say there about Mitch Trubisky. So Mason Rudolph will get another chance to command this Steelers offense. We have Commanders head coach Ron Rivera said on the benching of Sam Howell, he's just really trying to take care of him a little bit. Rivera said that Howell is still their starting quarterback, but there has been speculation that Rivera will be relieved at the end of this season. So,
he knows the writing's on the wall. Come on.
Yeah. So Brissett came in,
quarterback. They had other
did
things.
very well when he came in. Just started bombing it away over there, Jacoby Brissett. So just kind of keep your eyes on that. Sam Howell hasn't made it through the last two games after basically heading into the bye week. He was the NFL passing leader, but since then hasn't been able to finish a game. So other quarterback news here. There's no discussion to be had until he's actually cleared, said Robert Saleh about Aaron Rodgers. The Jets were officially eliminated from the playoffs with their loss yesterday. So I doubt we see Aaron Rodgers here at the end of the year. Anything you want to comment on any of that stuff, or you want to keep moving forward?
I just want to kind of go back and just kind of clean this whole thing that we had with the stats going on. Because he said the fun fact, and Seesaw's been doing on the Eagles. He wasn't sure if it was games or years. I kind of just looked it up real quick. It's the last 8 games going back to 2011. And the last
so that
time
is
the
like almost
Eagles
15
beat the
years.
Seahawks was in 2008.
Damn, it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Nice fact.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I had to clean it up a little bit for you.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
We're good.
All right. So we'll keep it rolling here with the injury news here. We had the 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy had a scare, dude. I'll tell you what, my heart dropped. My heart dropped. I was straight tripping, bro. I was like, this is not happening again. Not again, dude. Like, I was like, I'm glad I didn't break anything or anything like that. But like, he looked like he was either like knocked out or like he was hurt because he was not getting up. Yeah, like it looked like it was like separated or something. And I was like, oh my God. Or like, I was like, this is crazy. I was like, just show a replay. What happened?
There was another small injury to CMC too. I'm thinking you guys better start sitting your guys. You guys
right?
Get this,
number one seed, but yeah, we need to see a little Elijah Mitchell here
for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, still two more games to go, 3 more games to go. Actually, you need to make sure you can make it that far. You know what I mean? Like, it's rough going out there. So I know you guys are stressing on that.
It was crazy, man. Yeah. So he leaves. It comes back. We all thinking, concussion protocol. He's at least done for the game, right?
Yeah.
Like after that hit, like you thought for sure that's what it was. Then it comes out that he's just dealing with the left shoulder stinger. Left the game only for like a few plays. Went in the tent, came back, put his helmet on as soon as he could, got back in the game, drove him down the field, and threw like a 15-yard touchdown to CMC.
Slapped his ass and go.
So there you go, baby. Brock Purdy putting it down. Another news here: you got Texans coach D'Amico Ryans on CJ Stroud's status. He says CJ is still in the concussion protocol. we'll see how he progresses throughout the week. So he's still in that mandatory concussion protocol from the NFL. So just keep your eyes on that throughout the week. Tough in a lot of places, man. Where on one league I had to start, and I ended up losing. I had to start Russ and somebody else because I lost Herbert and CJ Stroud, and then on an 11-3 team in a super flex league, and ended up having to start Russell Wilson and somebody else like terrible, and it just didn't work out after like dominating all year with the other guys. So yeah, it was 11-3, and then that's how I go into in a super flex league. So I was lucky I still had those guys, and I had already Daniel Jones and Aaron. It was a dynasty league, so I had Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers already on IR from earlier in the year. I'm already, Herbert and, happened to hit on my CJ Stroud pick. I had to pull him up from the taxi just to play him. And then, yeah. So anyway, we're just supposed to be doing quick injury reads here. It's been a long year, man. It's been fun. All the storylines around everything. So he's in the concussion protocol. So we'll see what happens, man. A lot of QB injuries we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, that was a lot
yeah, man, it's crazy. But what's crazy is there's still more. We had more quarterback injuries last year than we've had still at this point this year. There were still more starting quarterbacks last year. I think that was because the Niners themselves started 4 different quarterbacks, just for us alone.
Oh, just for you, yeah.
So I think that's the numbers a little inflated.
Quarterback injury. It seems more so than any other year. Like
it's not. Yeah, last year was still worse. So
worse than this year, really.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It just solidifies the fact that I'm going to be drafting 2 quarterbacks going forward.
I was like, I need like 3 in a 1 QB league now. Like, it's just going to be all quarterbacks, and it started being the QB whisperer.
I did lose 2 of mine. I had Anthony Richardson and what's his name from the Browns.
Oh, Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. Both of them going down.
I had several shares of Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb this year.
I was running on backups. That's why I ended up at the bottom of one of our leagues because, you can't, when your backup
hard to come back from that, man.
Yeah, it's hard to come back when your quarterbacks could go down and everybody else is hoarding something. What are you going to do, right?
Exactly. So let's bang these out here. But hey, it's our show, man. We'll talk like we want to.
Right.
So it's for us here. So we're just hanging out, man. Let us know how you guys are doing in the chat too. So Jets quarterback Zach Wilson, he was ruled out of the game due to a head injury after he was coming out talking about how you don't feel comfortable and don't want to start. Remember all that drama that was going on because he didn't feel comfortable behind the offensive line, and now he gets hurt. He's like, called it. So if he can't go, it'll be Simeon this week. Titans quarterback Will Levis. You guys remember that injury? That looked brutal.
Yeah.
He got bent over backwards. He went down. They called it a lower leg injury, but they believe that it's a high ankle sprain. He had an MRI today. I don't think we got I didn't get the updates from that quite yet. But he told reporters afterwards, he said, I'm all right. It could have been a lot worse. So remember how I always talk about, it depends what people are saying or what they're not saying. Like the fact that he was like, okay, it could have been worse. And he says that he is all right. Like, there's a small chance he might play like Trevor Lawrence. Because remember, it kind of looked like that Trevor Lawrence play where he got kind of bent all backwards like that too. Yeah.
Out behind it. And yeah,
exactly. And he's still young, man. So he might be a little more flexible. He could, not quite grown into that old man body quite yet. So he might be able to tough it out and get in there. If not, we might see a Ryan Tannehill again.
Yeah.
This
is see the second or third that I've seen this year of guys just literally there's a guy in between them and they're just getting bent backwards. Like
they're gonna probably eliminate that type of tackle. Like if you do that to him, it's just gonna be an automatic flag.
Yeah.
For just unnecessary
it is
roughness.
Yeah.
And you see they're gonna get rid of the hip tackle where they come up behind him and drop all their weight, how they roll up on their back ankles like that.
Yeah.
They're going to get rid of that tackle soon too, which is going to be tough. Like, how do you take someone down?
Do you bring somebody down then?
Yeah.
I was thinking,
I don't know. We'll see. But it's brutal when it happens. I mean, that's what happened to Dak. That's what happened to Tony Pollard.
He got rolled up on his legs. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony Pollard in our game, we did that to him. So yeah, it's tough. That tackle is always scary, man, when that happens, especially as a fantasy investor too.
You don't want to take away the horsepower, which was, I think, easier to take away and more legitimately so than that one, because that
it just makes you go lower.
The guy just kind of it happens by happenstance. The guy just kind of grabs him by the waist and just you got to sit
Well,
down
we've
and
seen
have
what's
him
his
carry
name
your
do it
weight.
earlier in the year to save the touchdown. Remember, he just grabbed him and pulled him down because he got burned, and they just took like half the distance. But at least you have a chance to just hold them to a field goal versus just a walk-in touchdown. So just depends on the situation, I guess. So yeah. So moving on here, we talked about it just a second ago. Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence, he was placed in the concussion protocol after the game, so that's why there's an update on that. So recon, on your T-Law team, make sure you stay tuned with us when we start getting these QB waiver ads that you might have to consider here. Then we have another scare, like we were talking about, running back Christian McCaffrey. He was working on his right knee on the sideline kind of throughout the game. Remember, they had it taped up at one point, and then he took the tape off. But he ended up finishing with over 100 yards, finished the game, 3 total touchdowns, so he balled out. We talked about it just a second ago with this team there. Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell suffered the ACL tear after the MRI. His season is over, but they're saying he should make that full recovery.
Right off the bat.
Oh yeah, man! It hit flamingoed. It was like hyperextended and just because he missed the step, and so when you miss that step and it came down, his knee was already flexed, and then all the weight came forward,
right?
And it just
came forward.
Yeah, dude, that was brutal. I knew it wasn't. I mean, I'm sure we all knew that's what happened there.
As soon as he went for it, I knew he was.
Yeah, that was brutal. So John Harbaugh did say that they are going to bring up running back Melvin Gordon. He says he's ready. So Melvin Gordon. So maybe he could be someone you pick up there.
Sneak in some touchdowns here and there.
You never know. We have Colts running back Zach Moss. Says he plans to try to play Sunday at Atlanta, despite the fact that he injured his shoulder versus the Steelers. The X-rays on his shoulder were negative, and he just has to see how he progresses through the week, is what they're saying. So make sure you keep an eye on that. But again, Jonathan Taylor might come back, so we'll just have to keep our eyes on that, which makes Trey Sermon a potential waiver wire add here this week, which we'll get into here a little bit later.
Really nice game from Zach Moss. He was doing pretty good. He during the JT's absence, I think he only had that one game that didn't go so well. But then
last week,
and then that last week's game,
or not like yesterday or Saturday, the week before, week 14.
Game that didn't go well. Last week went well. This week he got injured. He did get the touchdown.
Started off good,
yeah. He started off good, so he was doing all right. But yeah, like I said, keep an eye on him if JT comes back or not. If not, I'd fire him up still.
Yeah. Then you have Kevin O'Connell. We're kind of talking about this situation earlier, but running back Alexander Madison dealing with that ankle will work toward rejoining practice this week. It's uncertain whether he or Ty Chandler will start on Sunday, but O'Connell said Chandler is absolutely a guy that is going to see a featured role in our offense, he said. So, Ty Chandler, if he's out there. Yeah, he said it twice. Quote, that was a quote, quote unquote.
You need to go get that guy like today.
Yeah, absolutely. So he might be one of those guys where you almost like just whatever you have left on Fab, you just put it out there.
Oh yeah. This is what are you saving it for? This is
this is the time. Yeah, you got one game. Yeah, you got 2 games left.
You got to think one game at a time right now.
Absolutely. Nice yeah, there is no next week if you don't win this week.
Don't even worry about the next week. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Throw it all out there for this week. You worry about next week.
Yeah, I think we're probably agreeing there that's our number 1 waiver ad this week is Ty Chandler. Then you have Chiefs coach Andy Reid saying running back Isaiah Pacheco. He actually had shoulder surgery earlier in the week, last week. It was like a cleanup procedure, so nothing like serious or major, but just some type of cleanup procedure in the shoulder. And they said he'll be back this week, is what he said. Not he may be back, or we'll see how he responds. He said he'll be back this week. So that's why
they have to rush him back because they're playing good over there with CEH and Jared.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying that when we were trying to answer that question earlier. I already had this news, so that's why I was like, we'll get into that. So that's why I was like, Pacheco is going to be back.
It all depends on whether or not Pacheco, and even if Pacheco's back, I think I might still fire up CEH. I would not fire up Jerick McKinnon because I think somebody asked about Jerick McKinnon or picking him up. That's a little deep. He didn't have quite the many touches. He did get a.
Oh no, I think he's scored in like 4 of the last 5 games or something like that. Jerick McKinnon. Yeah.
Well, shit, you got me corrected on that because I was just looking at basically his number of touches. Because he was below CEH. He ended up getting 16.16 PPR fantasy points. But on the day, he had 4 attempts for 11 rushing yards and three targets, 3 catches for 19 and a touchdown. So it was
Oh yeah,
just
that's
that
what it was. He
touchdown.
scored a touchdown the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but they're saying in the month of December, since he's been on the team, basically he scores every week in December.
Yeah, okay.
Like he
So
just
that's
comes
what
on
they're saying.
late.
Yeah, he's one of them late guys. Well, maybe these. I don't see why they would go past CEH on that.
Yeah.
CEH
Gets
on the other
Las
hand,
Vegas and then
13
Cincinnati, so not
13
bad matchup.
attempts, 37 yards. So that's a good number of touches right there for 13. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. So I like the CEH's numbers better. I think that Jerick McKinnon kind of just lucked into it some touchdowns. And if that's what you're hoping for and that's who's available, then go with that. But I would still rock CEH over Jerick McKinnon. I mean, you got to go in that order: Pacheco, CEH, and McKinnon. Or what order you got it in?
I switch it. I think when Pacheco comes back, CH goes right back into the
Pacheco?
role he had. Yeah, Pacheco goes there, and McKinnon keeps his same role. But
So
that's just me.
so you're
One
saying
of us
Pacheco,
could be right.
you're saying Pacheco, McKinnon, and then CEH.
Yeah,
Okay.
and CH is basically not startable when Pacheco's active and starting. So that's just me.
Okay.
So we'll move on.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why we do this. That's why we do this. We can't just be all agreeance the whole time, or else there'd be no reason for us to both be on here.
Right.
Just I could let you run it, and I could just hang out and be in the chat or something. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase considered day to day, dealing with the right AC joint sprain. I wrote this earlier. There was an update that now says Jamar Chase, after the MRI, has a separated shoulder. He will miss some time. He's most likely definitely out this week. However you want to read into that. But most likely he's out this week. Maybe has a chance the next week, but this could be the end for Jamar Chase for your fantasy semifinal and final championship round. So
T. Higgins, did you see his touchdown?
I'm so happy I picked up T. Higgins in the league that I have Jamar Chase in. That's in our keeper league, man. But I have to go up against Classic Mike in that league, and he's coming off a week scoring like 150 the last like 2 weeks.
Damn,
And his team is just catching fire right now. So he better not come in and win the belt like right away. His first year. It always happens. I have to take down the first year guy. It's on me
it's on you to do it
to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
So a lot of stress there on
too
me.
many late losses. I should have been
So
that the bye week would have been crucial, helpful for me since that Bijan situation happened. Anyways,
brutal. Anyway, we'll move on. Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. Yeah, we're in our feels right now, man. We're overreacting still. That's what we're here for, man. Overreaction Mondays. So Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman, he's in the concussion protocol after taking that brutal hit by Demonte KZ, who basically has been suspended for the rest of the year. He is going to try to appeal his 3-game suspension, which includes any potential playoff games as well this year. So basically, he will not play the rest of this year for multiple.
So I don't think that was purposeful and whatnot.
Well, it's because it's been multiple. Like he's been fined and warned. Yeah, and so now he's done for the rest of this season. So I don't think he'd be done for this season if this was like week 2. But you never know. So let's see. We got Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle. He had a chest injury early in the game. He left, but ended up returning and had a nice game without Tyreek Hill. McDaniel said he is feeling pretty sore today, but expects him to be okay. So that's good news for those Waddle owners out there. Jags head coach Doug Peterson said Zay Jones will be day-to-day with that hamstring injury. I'm sure we all saw him kind of pull up there late in that game. You have wide receiver Jaden Reed dealing with the toe issue. He had an ankle coming into the week, got removed off the injury report, was active and ready to go, but suffered a toe injury here late in the fourth quarter and did not return. So something to keep your eye on. Dontavian Wicks, which we'll get into here.
I was just thinking about this whole thing that you said with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I did want to mention, I think I even heard somebody mention, I forget who it was, I want to give him credit to, that Hill couldn't cut, and that's the problem with his ankle. He said he got good straightaway speed, but just can't cut and make those turns. So,
at
like you were mentioning,
yeah,
because you were mentioning, he could come out there and be a decoy, and that could work. I mean, if he could just still keep running forward on a couple routes, and he could burn a guy anyways, regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
he doesn't really have to put the juke on him. He just run right past him. Like not many people have like 4.2 speed.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what happens with him if he comes back or not. I still like the Waddle starts, especially if Hill is out. So
right. So yeah, okay, good stuff. Yeah, good point there. And then last couple things here to finish it out. Saints head coach Dennis Allen says he expects Chris Olave to be able to participate in tomorrow's practice in some fashion. They do play on Thursday night, so just keep an eye on that. And obviously, don't forget to put him in your lineup. I don't have to worry about it because, hey, I lost because he was in there this week. So sorry about that. Not going to be a problem this week. But for all of you that did move on and remember to take him out and got your W, just make sure you pay attention to that here this week. Total rookie move, man. I still can't believe I shouldn't even be able to have a show by doing a move like that. I mean, come on. Gosh, I feel such an idiot for doing that. And it was in a podcast league, so it was like other podcasters that I was doing it with, and
other people
that's how I lose.
What's this guy doing?
Yeah, man. I was like, really? It's tough. And last bit of news here: Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown. He left the game with that re-aggravating his heel injury that he had coming into the game. Was considered active, didn't do much, and then did end up leaving and not returning. So that'll conclude our news and notes here. We'll get to a couple things here in the chat. If you guys do have anything, questions, let us know how you're doing, how your playoff teams are, rolling. Are you playing next week? Did you take a brutal loss? Let us know in the chat. But what do we got here?
How many teams made the playoffs? That's what.
How many teams did you have? Like, what are your stats? What are your fantasy stats? We want to know what's going on. How many teams? How many moved on? How many out? Let us know.
We had Zakowicz here. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, something like that. He says this week coming up, would you play Ty Chandler or Zamir White over Bichon, Etienne, or Hall? No. So I'm starting Etienne. Oh, that was the other guy who did terrible. Breece Hall. Yeah, I played somebody with Breece Hall and Bichon.
They're done. That whole team's done.
If I had to start two there, I would probably start Etienne and Chandler. I don't know if I can with Bichon, man. After a 0.4, I mean, because you have good other options. Like I wouldn't start White over him.
I would start. Oh, Zamir White. Oh, that's not the same White I'm thinking.
No. I think you're thinking Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, I'm thinking the other way.
Rashad White.
Rashad White.
Yeah.
Just look them up right now.
No. So I'm not starting Zamir over Bichon.
No.
But I'm starting. I would start Chandler and I would start Etienne as my top two. If I had to pick a third, I think that's where I would give Bichon a try because they're still playing for first place, like in their division. Like they still have a chance. Like they're still playing for something.
Yeah. But they
say they're done with the thing. They should just give other guys Van Kanda and these other guys work. Anyway, so good stuff. So what else we got here? We have Recon. I think was asking. He said when we get to the comments again, but he says his team's is the Josh Allen team. He's playing the T-Law team. He just wanted us to compare the teams and give him an option. Oh, so I thought he had like two different teams. So the Josh Allen team is his team. He's playing against the T-Law and Bichon and James Cook team. Oh, so I think you're in good shape then because T-Law is in that concussion protocol. Bichon, we're just talking about how we'd start Ty Chandler over him at this point. It could just be a little overreaction. Come at me on Friday, but we'll see. CD's going to be fine. Keenan Allen's probably not going to play, and if he is, it's Easton Stick throwing to him. I don't know if I'd trust that. Godwin finally just had his best game in like 2 years. So I don't know.
Pulling out right now.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does because I think I'm rolling with Mayfield next this week where I lost Herbert, man, in our home league. So
or Minshew.
Yeah, Minshew too. And then and Ferguson I think is fine for a tight end. So I mean, he has some holes to fill, so it's going to depend on what he has. But for you, I definitely make that swap with JT. I'm sticking with Waddle, sticking with ARSB and Jay Jettis and Njoku. And so so good luck, brother. Let us know how it goes. Where else were we at?
Because you were like talking about his players, but didn't have it up.
Okay, he was pick 101. He took Jettis, Aaron Jones, Patty, Waller, DJ Moore. Thankfully, he had Zay, Nico, and Gus. Yeah, so that got you through. He says, I listened to you guys and moved many pieces. So there you go, man. Shaw Dog. What's up, Shaw Dog? How's it going, brother? Good to see you here. He says, is Keenan Allen coming back week 15? I don't know, man. And if he is, I don't know if I trust it. I'd much rather just have him be ruled out so I don't have to make that decision. because that's a tough decision to have to make. I'd rather just have
Yeah.
him ruled out, because we've seen like bad quarterbacks still throw to number one guys and have good
And
games.
still do good.
Yeah, like, but I would rather not have to make that decision. I'd rather just have him be ruled out. So I have an
You have to worry
excuse
about
as
it.
to why I
Yeah.
had to play somebody else over him. Dim Boys in the house. What's up, Dim Boys?
What up,
Hopefully
what
you're still
up?
here watching. What's up, brother? How's it going? Hey, I know in the Build-A-Blocks League with the Dynasty Pylon fellas, you have a chance to take down your side of the bracket. I might take down my side of the bracket. We might have a Get Right Championship on the Dynasty Pylons logo over there. We might take down that league over there. Or if we both lose, it's going to be two Dynasty guys playing each other, like from the actual show. And it's with a couple of their listeners and our listeners. So, yeah, it's good stuff over there, man. So what's up, Dim Boys? Good to see you out here again, man. Our very first subscriber here. One of the first guys to jump in our first Friday night mocks, man, 3 years ago. So appreciate you catching the live stream here. Shaw Dawes said 16 in week 16. I think we do what you meant, because I didn't even catch it either.
Yeah, he's
Oh, and then he said,
He's
when we
good.
were talking about Tyreek Hill, he said he was scared of the Sauce Gardner. He didn't want any of that.
No.
Would you start Addison or Calvin Ridley? I'm starting Addison, man. What's crazy though is like Calvin Ridley's like the DK Metcalf of last year. He like has the most end zone targets. He got robbed of a touchdown. Even the referee was like, I disagree with the caucus or whatever the place is called.
Yeah.
They do the reviews at.
No, his leg was in.
He's like, yeah, we all saw it with our own eyes. They were like, he has the ball now after the bobble. He re-secured it against his chest, and they had the two shots right next to each other.
Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
he's like, I disagree. I disagree.
Yeah, they got it wrong.
That was crazy. So yeah, so I think I'm going Addison, especially with Jay Jetta's back, man. They're going to roll coverage of Jetta's. Addison is good enough, especially now late in the season. He had times of being the number one man, so now he's going up against lesser guys because now JJ has So he's doing dudes, man. So yeah, Addison's the man. So he could be, I mean, he already basically is kind of a league winner if you still got him and you're rolling with him, especially after a performance like that in week 15. You hope he can follow it up with another good performance here in week 16. And remember, Mullins did pretty well with the Niners in their system, system quarterback over there, previous Niners guy. He would just sometimes turn the ball over. And what else is new with those rookie guys? But he throws a pretty accurate ball, and if he has time, he can put the ball in there. So give me Addison. What do you think, Addison or Ridley?
Addison. Easy.
There you go. All right. Cowboys, Eagles, or Colts defense this week?
That's why I moved around some people.
Cowboys versus Miami, Eagles versus don't they play the Giants? But their defense still sucks. Danny DeVito, Danny DeVito might put up some crazy numbers on them. And then the Colts.
Leprechaun manager now.
Right. And then who do the Colts play?
Yeah.
Oh, Colts play Atlanta. At Atlanta. Yeah, they don't really run too many plays. They like to run the ball a lot. Bijan obviously
roll out
contained.
the Cowboys because they've been. I mean, other than having a bad game last week, I don't think that's going to be repeated. And they've been, getting their turnovers.
We just said they were going to be a shootout. We just said it was going to be a shootout earlier in the show.
But I think they're going to come and get some turnovers, man. You're going to have to come and get that ball.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go. If it's Eagles and Giants, I think I'm going to go with Indy. Indy's been solid. Their defense has been solid, and they get Atlanta. Like, Atlanta don't really put up too many points. They don't really run too many plays, so the defense usually isn't out there too often. It's not like they put these long drives together. They can every once in a while. And we don't even know if it's going to be Heineke or Ritter. And either way, they're prone to turn the ball over. So you just hope, Indy could score a pick six or fumble recovery for a touchdown. I just think there's a high chance one of them could score a touchdown because Ritter just be making some terrible decisions every once in a while. He just has
I like it.
A glitch. On that. Yeah. So yeah, give me Indy.
Scored 14 points this last week. Yeah.
And I think they had double digits the week before.
I like it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Indy, Eagles, then Cowboys. Is how I'd rank them. Brokehouse says non-PPR needs 2 in the flex: Bijan, Godwin, Deontay Foreman, or Achane. So I'm gonna go Achane, and it's crazy not to say Bijan, but if you're on you don't want to risk Bijan side, then I'd throw Godwin in there. I don't trust Mason Rudolph throwing Deontay. I mean, they may have a connection still, but I don't know. I don't know if they could score a touchdown.
I wouldn't trust Deontay Foreman either.
Yeah. So HN for sure.
Yeah.
Because just the upside is just like he could literally just win you the week himself.
And that's the hard part is Bijan or Godwin is the hard one after that.
Yeah.
You're still
And
gonna go
it's
with Bijan?
non-PPR. Yeah, I think Bijan
it's
has the greater chance to score.
Then I'd
Yeah,
go
so that makes it
Godwin.
a little easier.
I'd
You
get
got to roll with Bijan and HN there, man. You got to do it.
I'm leaving Bijan. He's done for me.
There you go. Shaw Dog says he has to go Bijan and Godwin. He's disappointed with Bijan usage for sure.
Yeah, that whole situation, man. When they brought what's the name back in? I can't even think of his name right now. He was doing things last year over there. Help me out.
Who?
Hold on. I'm looking up right now.
What team?
With Bijan there.
Tajay wasn't
Tajay
Zach
Spears,
Charbonnet.
no,
Zach Charbonnet in college?
No. Here in
or this year, Tyler Algier.
Tyler Algier and Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson's the guy.
Oh yeah, Cordero Patterson scored a touchdown out of nowhere.
Yes, exactly. That's what killed it, dude. That's why I was like, what?
Like he's not even getting the valuable touches, but he got like 17 carries or something, didn't he? Like he got like, wasn't it like 17 carries for like? Oh no, that was Derrick Henry that had like 17 carries for like 20 yards.
14 runs. You know what I mean? I'm like looking at the numbers here again. I don't like it. Especially since you mentioned PPR. Non-PPR. So you want to get the guys that are going to get. I don't know. I think I won't trust Godwin a little bit more.
To try to score a touchdown. I think he only has like 1 or 2 touchdowns all year.
He'll keep it going. You know what I mean?
All right, there we go. He says he appreciates the input. He's surviving in one of his dynasties right now with a round 1 win, but he's out in all his redraft leagues. But dynasty team is looking good this year. So good luck, Shaw Dog, man.
There you go.
Take it down. Take it down.
There.
For sure. Recon saying the guy with T-Law has Russ and Gino as backup QB, so not too much to worry about there.
Yeah.
Like a 20-point, upside. Like if they hit 20, that's going to be like a good game for them. Otherwise, they're scoring like between 14 and 18 and 6 point, maybe even lower in 4 point.
Also,
Cincy defense is on waivers against the Steelers. Do I pick them up and drop the Eagles? That's a little tougher. Cincy defense against the Steelers because they got Mason Rudolph, basically their 3rd string quarterback going in. Man, that's a little tough. And then you got Eagles versus the Giants. I have to say that you got to just roll with Eagles versus the Giants, man. I don't know if I'd make that chance. It's too much of a
risk.
Yeah, with that Cincy. Yeah, but I could see Cincy's defense scoring a lot against the Steelers. Like a pick 6, Mason Rudolph. That's tough, man. I say that's tough, but I think. Yeah, that's really tough, man. You have to come back with me on Friday for that one when I'm more in a start-sit kind of move there.
Gotta look at the schedules a little bit more.
Definitely. It says, after seeing the rise of QBs and tight ends being serviceable, I have no interest in drafting a tight end or QB in the first 5 rounds. Welcome to Get Right Fantasy. That's what we preach. Late are great, and basically late is good. Sam Laporta was our big guy this year, ends up basically tight end 1. And then he says we'll be targeting AR-15 and Njoku heavily next year. Njoku's my guy. Go back and watch the shows. I had him in several places as well. But yeah, so there you go. And make sure, he says he's going to be going wide receiver, RB, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. Throw one more wide receiver in there.
Yeah, one more wide receiver in there.
Instead of that running back. Just go anchor RB, man, because it's just the way to go.
I think I'm gonna try to
come back with us here for our Friday night mocks, Recon, and we'll get you in our mocks. And
just because of the scarcity of them.
We'll get your practice in, man, during the off season.
It depends on where you drafted at too, but running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, quarterback.
There it is. So you're giving out all the secrets. We're like up, down, left, right, AB start over here.
Yeah, exactly. Select start.
Select start. There you go. So you couldn't give out the full. Why you can't give out the full thing? We got Isaiah in the house. Are you saying, somehow one starting Pollard and Brees this week? Ooh. Any confidence in starting Singletary or Javonte Rover? Maybe that was autocorrect to over any of them. There we go. You ran out of room there. I would say Singletary, yes, possibly. Like I'd have to get maybe Singletary in there, but I think they play Cleveland, so that might be a tough matchup there. So, but I don't know. I might roll Singletary over Brees, man. I just might do it.
I'd still roll Pollard regardless, but
yeah, I think you got to go Pollard against Miami and Singletary against
Brees, and that
Cleveland.
whole team is done over there. I will not touch anything with the Jets. It's done.
Yeah, I think I'm done with that too. I wouldn't. I don't want to go down with a Jet in my lineup with somebody else going off on my bench and be like, why did I start a Jet? Like I wouldn't be able to continue with the rest of the off season. Like I don't have to worry about that until you draft again for real next year, and you're not touching them. So yeah, you have Devin Singletary. Remember he was playing 80% of the snaps while Dameon Pierce was out. Dameon Pierce comes back, then he goes down to 46%, then 57% against Denver and the Jets, and then this week they say forget it, give him 75% of the snaps. He gets 26 carries, 121 yards, 4.6 yards per carry. Also getting the passing game work, 4 catches on 5 targets for another 49 yards in the air. Obviously that was with Case Keenum. So, he's going to check down probably a little more than if CJ Stroud comes back, but there's a chance CJ Stroud doesn't come back. And again, they're playing Cleveland, who has just basically been in shootouts over there. Joe Flacco throwing the ball like 50 times a game, 300 yards. So, yeah, man, I think I'm going to go Singletary over Brees, man. I think I'm going to go Singletary over Brees.
I would go Singletary over Brees easily. I don't think that.
He's like, I didn't even need all those stats.
Yeah, I mean, none of that. I've already seen it.
He's like, I just use my eyes.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm just using my eye test.
I don't look at stats. I just look at what's going on in the field and like, did you see that? Did you not see that? Like, looking around, you know what I mean? Like, that's
man,
that's all I needed to see. That's all I.
For sure. Yeah, he does say Brees is going up against Washington, but yeah, their rush defense is tough. They traded away Sweat. They traded away Chase. But still, man, I mean, he could have a good game, but I wouldn't feel bad if Brees happens to outscore Singletary, because I think Singletary will still score you decent, especially with that passing game work and getting those touches. Like, you're not going to get 26 carries again, but and I think it's at home. Yeah, they're playing at home in the Dome against Cleveland. So yeah, man, they got a chance for a playoff spot. Yeah, I'm rolling out Singletary, man.
Yeah, I mean, Singletary had like the last since week 10, 23 points, 19 points, 13 points. Had one bad game against Denver for 5 points, then 12 and 21. I mean, you're looking at average of maybe 15, 16 points there. I would roll that easily over Brees.
Yeah. And I mean, he has been scoring double-digit points up until last week, or this last Sunday, where he scored 2.8, but he played his season low 40% of the snaps. And they've been talking about working in Abanikanda and these other guys. And again, they're out of the playoffs now. He's recovering from ACL. Like, you're not making a playoff push. Like, why risk him getting hurt? Like, I think he's going to have about 40% of the snaps, maybe even a little less, might drop down to 30. Like, there's no point in putting your young running back that's coming off an ACL in a season that doesn't matter. And you literally are eliminated from the playoffs. So we might see a lot of Abanikanda and a couple other guys over there.
I just bench that guy. I would.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, Nick Bowden even, I think, was already getting some run.
Just like the Niners, they should be benching CMC just to keep him healthy for the playoffs.
We're trying to get the number 1 seed, but yeah.
I know. Keep trying. Somebody's gonna break.
Don't be saying that. Don't even be putting that
out there.
Don't put that out there, man. Why are you doing that to me? So there you go. So he's giving us the thumbs up there, and then Recon here saying, if I'm right, I'll swap JT for Swift this week, right? Hopefully it pays off and Waddle goes off again. So yeah, definitely swap JT for Swift if JT's playing. If not, you might have to just roll out Swift. So unless you can pick up someone like Ty Chandler or someone, then maybe roll out. I would roll Ty Chandler over Swift this week.
To that for a while.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to it, man. We'll try to get through this here quickly. Yeah, do some top performers and give out some game balls, man. So this is your segment, man. Glad to have you back for it
today. Yeah, let's do it. So we're doing some top performers. It started off at quarterback. This is a 6 point per passing touchdown, half PPR scoring that we're looking at. The number 1 quarterback of the week coming in at number 1, Jared Goff, Detroit Lions, right? Dude's actually balling over there, man. 24 of 34, 278 yards, 5 TDs on the day. A QB rating of 134.56, 70.6% completion rating, and 8.2 yards per attempt. Dropping them deep there. So number 2 here, who's really dropping them deep here,
Yeah.
Guy we were talking, waiver wire pickup, possibly Baker Mayfield, QB2 out of Tampa Bay, 37.04 fantasy points, 22 of 28, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did lose a fumble. A QB rating 158.33, 78.6,
Perfect QB
right?
rating.
Well, yeah, if you get that 381 yards and 4 touchdowns, it's kind of,
22 for 28.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the bag, man. It's in the bag. 78.6 completion rating, 13.6 yards per attempt. So that's a 8 out of
Well
deep 8
done.
out.
Shake and bake.
Yeah.
Shake and bake.
Just 2 rush, 2 yards on that, but 37.04 on the day here. Aiden O'Connell, though, coming in at number 3 there for Las Vegas. I mean, this guy's actually throwing some numbers up, right? Which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Who's Trey Tucker and why did he score 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, exactly.
To start off week 15. Like, really? Devontae Adams owners like myself were like, what? That's not how you spell Devontae Adams.
Yeah. And
Getting the damn alerts.
The Raiders did not have to do that much. I mean, honestly, they almost put up to 70 points.
Chargers are terrible.
The Chargers.
Good riddance, Staley.
Wow. You know what I mean? Like,
I think this is our first show since Staley's been fired. So,
yeah.
If you've been living under a rock, no more Brandon Staley.
Right? Dunzo. So we got 20 of 34, 248 yards, 4 touchdowns for Aiden O'Connell. QB rating of 120.71, 58.8% completion rating, 7.3 yards per attempt. And again, it was just a crazy blowout there in Las Vegas.
60
one of the best ever. Probably one of the best ever games, right? Like, it was crazy. Yeah. Then we got Brock Purdy here, huh? Your QB.
Yeah, BCB, baby.
QB4 out of San Francisco. Not much, in as far as passing, really, honestly. 16 to 20, 25, 242 yards, 4 TDs. Just efficient, right? It's just efficient. QB rating 135.33, 64% completion rating, 9.7 yards per attempt, 33.68 points on the day. And last but not least, we got Gardner Minshew, another candidate for waiver wire pickup. So I think, these 3 guys, Baker Mayfield, Aiden O'Connell, and Gardner Minshew, probably your waiver wire pickups of the week here, possibly, if you need somebody. And these guys are still throwing up some numbers. 18 to 28, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns, QB rating 123.36 with 64.3 percent completion rating, 7.7 yards per attempt. Ends up 26.6 fantasy points on the day. So yeah, I think that kind of list off the waiver wire guys right there, really, right?
Almost, yeah.
It's kind of crazy, right?
What's even crazier is if you would have so imagine drafting, in week 1 or before week 1, and if I were to tell you these are going to be the top 12 quarterbacks of week 15, your first round of the playoffs. If I told you these guys, you would not believe me at all. So Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Aiden O'Connell, Brock Purdy, Gardner Minshew, the 5 you just mentioned, Derek Carr, Easton Stick, Jake Browning, Matt Stafford, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, and Nick Mullins are your top 12 quarterbacks in your fantasy playoffs.
That's
not
crazy.
Mahomes, not Trevor Lawrence, not Anthony Richardson, barely Jalen Hurts. Yeah, no Lamar Jackson, none of these guys.
That's crazy.
None of them. Nick Mullins is your QB 12 this week. Who would have thought that going back to draft season? So, like we said, just draft 17 quarterbacks next year. All your bench should just be quarterbacks next year. Yeah. Just messing around. All right, so who are you giving your game ball out to, man? Sorry. We'll get this thing moving.
I think I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. I like Baker Mayfield.
Brokaw says he's eating lunch at work, and that list just made him throw up a little.
Terrible,
right? That's insane, man. Insane. All right, so who was it? Baker Mayfield? I'm sorry. I started laughing over your game ball. Shake and bake?
I think shake and bake, man.
Oh, man.
I think he's, he kind of did what he did over there in the Rams late last year, right? He comes in.
Like right off the plane and just wins the game?
Wins the game, has a good showing. he's actually doing pretty good over here in Tampa Bay. Kind of figuring some stuff out. I just wish well for the guy. I think he got a rough start over there at the Browns, and hopefully he could straighten out his career.
And the Panthers.
And the Panthers.
Obviously, nobody could do anything with the Panthers, so I don't feel bad for him over there now.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't hold that against them. So shake and bake. All right. So because you took my guy, I'm gonna have to default to my other guy and give it to Brock Purdy.
I knew it. I didn't want to say it because
and give it to Brock. I was honestly going Baker Mayfield until you said that. Yeah, until you went Baker. So I'm gonna go to my default Brock Purdy. And the thing about the 16 for 25, like he's so efficient. We don't like you want him to throw 30 or 40 passes just because and have just more completions that are not as far down the field and not making as great of plays. Like you'd rather just have them be shorter just to have more plays put in.
Defense. Your guys are wide open. McCaffrey was wide open on one of them. Debo Samuel
That's just a busted play. Purdy was
open.
He had pressure right in his face. Pulled a Tony Romo spin.
Touchdowns.
He pulled a Tony Romo spin. And then the linebacker or the safety got lost, and McCaffrey just ran in the backyard. That was just a backyard play, bro. You got to give it to him. That's not drawn up scheme. Yeah, he didn't say, let the nose tackle just come free. Let's just not block the what do we think? Shanahan's that much of a mad genius? I got the best play. Let's just not even block the nose tackle. Brock, you do just a spin out to your left, a back spin out to your left. McCaffrey, you just act like you don't know what's going on and just run like a stutter go. And then when you just backpedal, catch it, fall down, give them a chance to catch up, get up, and then run for a touchdown.
That's how far away he was.
Ready break.
Fall down.
What the hell, man? Come on. That was just a backyard play. That was an off schedule.
I don't think it was
Come on, man.
You're making it
Come on.
way more than it was.
No way. Go look at it. There's no way.
It was
Come
wide
on.
open. It was
Yeah, because of everything else I said that happened. It was a broken play. And the guy just wasn't thinking. He's an idiot.
I'm not buying it.
That's incredible. That wasn't a design.
The Debo play.
Yeah, let's just not block the nose tackle.
You didn't say
just
nothing about that
fresh.
Debo give me.
Which one?
The Debo.
Oh, that throw to Debo at the end? Oh, the wide open one? That was a nice design.
Was literally
they both went after Jennings instead of somebody cover it, and they just didn't communicate. Yeah.
Nobody's covering these dudes. That's what I'm saying. See? Now you're
That was a good design. That was it was the play. It was there. It should have been covered. They just both went after the same guy. But it's all that motion that gets people confused, man. Let's go Niners. You guys are just jealous. You guys wish you had an offense that's moving
I'm saying
around
the defense should have been hey, follow, Debo. Don't follow the other guy.
Anyway, this isn't Niners talk. Let's go. Go to your running backs, top performers. Oh, man.
Running backs here. Coming in number one, your guy, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, okay. We're talking about him again.
15 yards, 6.4 yard average, a TD, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the air. One was really short. The other one was that longer bomb. So, McCaffrey's doing McCaffrey things. That's why he's an RB1. And
a wide receiver one in one.
In one, basically. So, we
5 for 72 and 2 touchdowns. If Devontae Smith had 5 for 5 for 72 and 2 touchdowns, you'd be like, oh, that's a great game. And then, he also had 18 carries for 115 yards, another touchdown on the ground. What is that? That's 2 players. That's just not fair.
I know you used to, even on the years he was injured, you were like, I'll take McCaffrey.
Always been my guy.
For McCaffrey, trying to get McCaffrey. You're like, I'll start him that one game. I remember, what was it, a year or 2 ago before he got to San Francisco? He literally started 2 games. He comes back, scores
25 points in each game.
It's 50 points, dude, and another 25 in the next game, and then he's injured again. You're it was
for 4 more games. Yeah,
got 75 points out of the guy for 2 weeks. It was great. No, but
points per game, he was still winning. Yeah, he was still top 3.
Way healthy, exactly. Way healthy now. Good for him.
Good job, McCaffrey.
James
Great
Cook,
pickup.
man. I know this guy's coming in at number 2. Had a monster day. And this is what we wanted to see from him from the get-go. Finally getting where he needed to be. I was talking to my nephew Bobby. He drafted him early. He's had some big things for him. Saw some things, and it just took forever to actually put it together. Hopefully, Buffalo keeps running and feeding them the ball. 25 attempts, 179 yards, 7.2 yard average, and a TD. 3 targets, 2 receptions, 42 yards, and the TD in the air. So one on the ground, one in the air. 35.1 fantasy points on the day. RB2 there. Jahmyr Gibbs, who's to my chagrin of uh, David Montgomery, but whatever. It is what it is over there in Detroit. 11
Still got like
attempts.
17 carries. He just didn't score.
Yeah, he just didn't score. That was I forgot who they put it in instead. I think him. Jahmyr Gibbs was somebody else who just shouldn't have got a touchdown. I'm like, why did they put that guy in? Like, what's going on? At the goal line, you know what I mean? Like, what the heck? 11 attempts, 100 yards, 9.1 yard average, and a TD. Also in the air, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 8 yards, a touchdown. So the first 3 guys here that we have scored on the ground and in the air. Jahmyr Gibbs ends up with 23.8 fantasy points. Moving on to the number 1 waiver wire ad of the week, Ty Chandler over there in Minnesota, RB4 of the week, 23 attempts, 132 yards, 5.7 yard average, and a TD, 4 targets, 3 receptions for 25 yards. He ends up going for 23.2 fantasy points. Again, the guy you need to pick up. And my guy, Kyron Williams, who I picked up way earlier in the season, noting that the Rams are moving on from what was his name now? I can't even think of his name.
Cam Akers.
Not even playing right now. He's on Minnesota.
He's
not even playing.
He's on IR. No, he went to IR. He got hurt.
Yeah.
You can't say that about him. Yeah.
I'm just saying he wasn't playing very well even when he was playing. Let's be honest.
He was taking over the backfield, but I mean, look at what Ty Chandler's doing to Madison. Anyone could take the backfield from Madison.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, go ahead.
27 attempts, 152 yards, 5.6 yard average, a touchdown there, 2 fumbles lost. But they kept feeding him the ball. They trusted in him. 7 targets, 5 receptions, 3 yards. Just doing the work. But he's 27 attempts for the 152 yards. He's clearly the lead back over there. 22 even fantasy points on the day. Who do you get in your game ball to?
Before I give my game ball to anybody here, I just want to say in the league that you did get the bye weekend that I won, and I'm moving forward in this week in playing you have 3 of these top 5 guys on this team. Yeah. You have Kyron Williams, James Cook, and Ty Chandler, who you just had on your bench this week. Well, I mean, you didn't play anybody; you had a bye, but they're just sitting there, just chilling.
That's why I'm in the first place.
So yeah, and then you have also it's a Bijan and Jerome Ford. So I'm just mad that I just gave you all the advice on what I would do with those guys, not knowing that's who I was playing against. I just set my own lineup against myself now, so that's terrible. But yeah, I think you should play Bijan though. I mean, I think you really.
Yeah, I'm still gonna roll that guy out. Yeah,
I think you really need to roll Bijan out.
So far, right?
Yeah, whatever you do, sit Cook and Chandler. They're no good. I would probably sit Kyron this week too. Just all 3 of them should just. I have a bad feeling, man. Bad.
Right.
My Reaper sense is going off over here. No. So as far as my game ball, man, I have to give it to James Cook, man. He's a guy I had on a couple teams that I just stuck it out, throughout the year. They finally give him 25 carries, man. He produces in a big way, 179 yards, beats your Cowboys in the process. So that's just another extra little cherry on top of the whipped cream. Again, that touchdown, 2 catches for another touchdown, 42 yards. James Cook, scoring in full PPR leagues, hit 36 with that extra point for the 2 catches. So yeah, man, James Cook helped me take down a league, so I'll give it to him. Even though I should give it to McCaffrey, but I've given him like 7 game balls already this year.
I was looking at James Cook. Quite honestly, I've had him. I've rocked him in 2 different leagues. I think I have him in. And I was waiting for him to have a blowout game. Unfortunately, it was against the Cowboys, and I hope they continue to going forward. I wish it was earlier in the season. I could have used a lot more of that help earlier. Yeah. But I think Ty Chandler deserves a nod here for a game ball here, with his 23 attempts, 132 yards, 5.7 yard average.
So you gave it to him anyway, huh?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Hey, if you can't beat him, join him.
Exactly.
Well done. All right, so let's move on here to wide receivers, man. Who's our top 5 wide receivers?
Wide receivers for the week, man. Oh wow, we're gonna start from the bottom up this time.
Okay, I like when you do that.
I want to switch it up here because our guy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Let's go, the Sun God.
the Sun God who has a brother out there playing and stuff. I just found out this week.
Equanimous St. Brown.
Yes,
with
I
the
had to look it up.
Chicago.
Thank you. Yes, I had to
I
look
got
him
you.
up, and I was like, "Whoa!"
I know all this weird little stuff.
He came up at wide receiver 5 this week with 9 targets, 7 receptions, 112 yards, and a TD. 20.7 fantasy points. Amon-Ra still doing Sun God things over there.
Huge
Cooper
bounce
Kupp,
back game.
yes, he had to come back. He needed that. It was a good game for him. Cooper Kupp here, on the other hand, did you see his wide open touchdown?
Nice
Yeah,
bounce back game for the
I was
Cupster
like,
as well.
yeah, exactly.
He's
8
looking like
targets,
Cooper Kupp again.
8 receptions, 111 yards, a touchdown. Yes, exactly. Looking like Cooper Kupp again. He had that early injury in the season here, coming back and all that. So hopefully he stays healthy. Let's see some more of those numbers, keep climbing over there. Um, Terry McLaurin coming in at number 3. I know you were high on him earlier in the season. He dropped off quite
Oh
a
no,
bit.
I
Now he's
wasn't, man.
back.
It was the other way around. I was low on Scary
Oh,
Terry coming into the season
oh
because I
yeah,
was a
you were
big
high on
Jahan Dotson
the
fan,
hot Dotson.
who's
That's
a
the one.
straight hot trash out of no. It's not like he's not good, just
Yeah.
for whatever reason, man. Hopefully, a coaching change next year, I could just get him super cheap. I'll take a flyer on him super late. I doubt he'll even be drafted, but yeah.
Oh, he won't even
But
be
for
drafted
the
this
record, on
year.
our Friday show, or whenever it was, I was saying to start Terry McLaurin. So I thought he was a good play this week's, and that did turn out to be good. Only because Sam Howell got benched and he went off with Jacoby Brissett. So
So is
I
it
was
is it
almost
Sam
wrong.
Howell thing, or is it Joe Brett thing? Because
I
Sam
don't
Howell
like.
was hot, man. And
He
how did this
was,
guy go
yeah. I don't
so
know.
hot to so cold?
The
Kind of
bye week
crazy.
just killed his mojo. I don't know
Is
what
that what it
happened.
is? Don't even take a
Yeah.
break. Like he
Or
just got
maybe
done working.
Ron Rivera is just saying "fuck it" on the way out and just
Ron Rivera it is.
doesn't
Ron
even
Rivera
care.
is like, you're taking my job. I'm taking you with me.
Yeah, something. Yeah, like you cost
Uh,
me. All right, here we go.
yeah. So
Make
Terry
sure you
ends
don't get
up
a
the
job.
day with 12 targets, 6 receptions, 141 yards, and a TD. 23.1 fantasy points on the day, and we got number 2 coming in at number 2, Jalen Waddle, man, over there taking advantage now that Tyreek Hill was out with injury. He gets 9 targets, 8 receptions, 142 yards, and a touchdown over there. Just one more yard
Did you
than
see the owner
Jalen
doing the
McLaurin.
waddle in the box?
It's in the box. I loved it. Yeah, the whole family was doing the
I know
little
you
waddle.
love that celebration. I had to mention that when I seen it. I thought of you.
I think it's one of the coolest celebrations
Yeah,
out there. He's just a little waddle, man. That's cool. Hey, you got to get into that.
for
Um,
sure.
So 24.2 fantasy points on the day, and the number 1 guy on the week, Jordan Addison. I think he could be a waiver wire ad. People got this guy. So 6 targets, 6 receptions, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. You wanted to see him throw up those numbers when Jetta's out. Now that Jay Jetta's coming back, hopefully he gets uh, still a good path, gets enough targets that he's going to eat and keep producing some good numbers. He ends up getting 26.1 fantasy points on the day. So yeah, who you getting your game ball to on this one?
I'm gonna have to give it to my guy Cooper Kupp, man, because I need one of these performances
Cooper Kupp?
next week in Rock Stompers, man. So I'm just gonna hopefully keep that thing rolling, man. So Cooper Kupp, with his nice bounce back game here, 8 catches, 111, and a TD. So the game ball for me. Who you
Yeah,
got?
I'm gonna go with Amon Ra, man.
There you
Like
go.
as you mentioned, it was a good bounce back game. Had some rough stuff going on with them, but 9 targets, 7 receptions, and 112 yards. It's good, decent numbers, and the TD in there.
Third best game of the year.
Yeah, I mean the guy he just does this. He just works, man. He's a workhorse wide receiver there. I'm really happy with him. I picked him up late last year, before last, whatever it was when he first came out, and been keeping an eye on him ever since. So I
Ooh, in
really
the
like
keeper
him.
league, you got him. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. No, I kept that eye on that guy.
there you go.
He's good. He's good to have. Here's one
There
of
you
you
go.
guys that for moving on to tight ends. One of the guys that I think Anthony called or Mike called on here.
Both of us, yeah, we're big
Wish
time
I would have
fans.
had him myself already dialed in, but I did not. Sam Laporta, tight end 1, gets 6 targets, 5 receptions, 56 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the
Let's
day.
go. His
Uh,
second 3 touchdown game this year, I
that's
believe.
crazy, crazy numbers. 26.1 fantasy points from a tight end. That'll win you a league right there. You know what I mean? Like that's
Laporta was for sure. Like he's on several of my best ball teams that advanced.
yeah,
Almost every single one of them had Laporta on it.
Laporta on it, right?
Yeah,
Because you get some numbers from the tight end.
he
It's like
was that
crazy.
later great tight end, and I just swooped him up in several places. So, yeah.
And David Njoku, because I think you were high on him. He's
Oh
finally
yeah,
coming out. He's finally
yeah.
coming around. He didn't come around the same as Sam Laporta, but David Njoku It's coming on strong here in the end where you need him the most, anyways. 14 targets, 10 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown. 14 targets for a tight end. That's crazy. Who do they got quarterbacking over there
It's
again?
Kelsey Light now. So you think he's going to be the tight end one next year? Who's tight end one next year? Who's tight end one next year?
Laporta.
Is it Laporta? Laporta, I'm talking about. You think he's tight end one now next year over Kelsey? The way Kelsey's declining.
Yeah. Kelsey's done. It's over.
It's kind of crazy, huh? Either him, Hawk,
sad.
Depending on who's the quarterback there in Minnesota. I don't know, man. Oh yeah, you traded JSN for Kelsey in Dynasty.
That's all right.
Trying to win it all this year. You had the third most points. You just ran up into a couple buzzsaws, a couple weeks.
Yeah, it just didn't work out for me. Oh well.
Yeah, is what it is. But yeah, so Sam Laporta, man, I think he's tight end one next year.
Yeah,
which sucks because that means I probably won't be able to get any. I won't have any Laporta shows next year, unfortunately, because he's just going to be going too high too rich for my blood for a tight end.
He's going to be worth it though. I think he's going to be worth it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with that guy's work. He's young, and he gets plenty of work over there.
For sure.
We got Hunter Henry appearance here, tight end number 3 from New England.
Oh, and it was he had a 2 touchdown game. It wasn't his second 3 touchdown game. It was his second 2 or more touchdown. Multiple touchdown game. There you go.
Call it multiple.
All right, Hunter Henry. My bad. Sorry for the.
No worries. Hunter Henry, 9 targets, 7 receptions, 66 yards, and a TD over at New England at 16.1 fantasy points. He's still very serviceable tight end. I was even considering starting him. I was looking at him today. For this last week, and I probably should have went with him instead. Isaiah Likely, another guy who's benefiting from somebody else's injury here, still putting up decent numbers: 6 targets, 5 receptions, 70 yards, and a TD. He didn't start off too good, but he's looks like he's worked it out with Lamar Jackson, and I think that he's a trustworthy or reliable start going forward. So I wouldn't shy away from Isaiah Likely. Also, depending on what other options you have available, right?
For sure.
And now we're looking at Trey
I don't know.
McBride.
He's going up against the Niners this week.
Yeah,
although McBride had a decent game, but yeah, we already had this conversation.
We had this conversation. Literally mentioned.
I couldn't remember if it was on air or off air. That's the problem. Sometimes
no, it was on air, and we were
make sure we
mentioned this guy because he is the tight end number 5 of the week who did face the San Francisco defense, right? Because they did score. I mean, how many points? What was the final score on that game?
29, 45 to 29.
Yeah, so
season high for us, but also season high, I think, in points given up.
Yeah. So it's not like you guys were like, you know what I mean? I know that some of it, a little bit, was garbage time, but honestly,
Arizona was a trap game,
and Arizona was putting it together for some part of it. I mean, if they get a couple of those turnovers, they would have kept a little closer, tighter game against.
Yeah, that
guys,
pick
right?
6. Yeah, it would have been a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it would have been a lot closer than we're talking about here.
Because they were driving. And they went for it on 4th down several times. They were trying to beat us, man.
Yeah, that's what I was telling my lady. I said, those guys are driving. I said, they're holding the ball.
Arizona knows us.
So, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. You guys play them as a division
game. And
game,
I think that's also why Seahawks beat the Eagles, because they game plan against us. So I bet you they just did their same game plan, because us and the Eagles are basically built fairly similar,
right?
Like, at least the version of the Eagles now, like, because we have a quarterback now, we're a whole different team. But like the team they'd been facing for the last several years is basically who the Eagles are right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just that, anyway.
So Trey McBride, tight end number 5 on the day, on the week here. 11 targets, 10 receptions, 102 yards.
That's crazy.
No TD, but I mean, the 11 targets for a tight end, again, high number of targets. I wouldn't shy away from that. He's another guy who's going to also go high next year. Again, I think Kelsey might drive down to like number 3. He's definitely at number 2 now, because Laporta will take his spot. I lost your audio, Ant. I lost your audio altogether. I can't hear you unless you can hear me. He's gonna fix his audio real quick, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the game ball out here. I'm not gonna go with the obvious pick of Sam Laporta. I'm gonna go with Trey McBride. Because this guy came back. He did get banged up. I was watching that game. I had to be forced to watch this game. But after, he goes in the tent, his shoulder's hurting, comes back, still ends up with 11 targets for 10 receptions and 102 yards. Those are decent numbers. So, I think anybody that has them is more than happy to fire them up every week. I would still would go again with them next week. I still no audio. I see you came back. You zoomed out, zoomed back in. Try it again. Yep, he's working on his audio here. So while Anthony works on that, um, I'm gonna go ahead and start moving on. Let's see if there's anybody in the chat that we had talking about some stuff here as Anthony's reconnecting here. Even against Washington Fabrice, yeah, we were talking about that. We talked about that. Lunch out, and then Calvin broke out. So yeah, you guys got any comments or questions? Let us know. Let's start. Start talking shop here because we're about to move on to the waiver wire pickups. And let's move on
Can
to
you hear me now?
QB ads. Yeah, we got you here. Let's go back to the week 15 performers. Who are you giving the game ball out to for one of these tight ends here at last?
I gotta go with Njoku, man. 10 catches,
Njoku, your
14
guy?
targets. Yeah, 104 and a touchdown. I'll take it.
Yeah, decent numbers, man. Good numbers.
For sure.
14 targets. I'm going with Trey McBride with had 11 targets. We're both picking the guys with like the most targets.
Yeah,
You
that's what I like to
touchdowns,
see.
man.
Leads to points, man. Leads to points.
Leads to the points. Man. That's all you need.
For sure. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into these waivers. You want to go by top, because I think a running back is the top waiver ad, or do you just want to go in order from QBs down?
I'm just going to go in order. We already got it.
All right, let's do it.
Typed up. We're moving on down the list here.
All right. So got quite a few quarterbacks here, man, and I'll just kind of list them off. Then we can. We've talked about a good amount of them, but we'll go in percentage owned. So you got Baker Mayfield, who we've both talked about here as a potential guy this week. He's 54% owned on Sleeper, 54% owned on Yahoo. He's coming off 22 attempts, 28 yards, 4 touchdown game. He's put up 37, 24, 11, 17, 12, 22, 23, 25, 18 since week 7. Had a bad week in week 6 at only 6.84. But even before that, 28, 12, 20, and 20. So been a very decent quarterback. You want someone around that 20-point range if you can, in a 6-point per passing touchdown league. And, he's, playing well here late. He gets to play at home against Jacksonville. You hope, Trevor Lawrence is able to play to make it somewhat of a shootout here. But it looks like, that's who I'm personally, I think, starting this week, either him or Flacco, who we'll talk about here soon. But yeah, so that's a decision I'm making is after losing Herbert, I got to decide between Baker or Flacco.
You're not going with Stick?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Not at all.
Not
put my playoffs. I know, man. I'm already mad that I have to put my championship hopes in the hands of either Baker or Flacco, man. A guy that just came off the couch a few weeks ago, and a guy that I would just, I've somewhat been okay with Baker, but I thought he was going to be trash this year. I didn't think he was going to do that well. But hey,
definitely not your choice for starting quarterback.
Not at all. Not going into my playoffs after a week one bye. That's not definitely what got me there. So that's why it's the worst thing. It happened literally right. I was like, you got to be a stupid dude to get fired on your day off.
Yeah, exactly.
I was on a bye already, and then I lose my starting quarterback when I'm not even putting fantasy points up. That's crazy, that was the worst thing ever, man. I already had the number one clinched. Didn't need him. And he gets hurt, and I lose him, man. So I'm a little bit hurt on that. Anyway, so another guy here we have on the list, the next own guy, Jake Browning, man, quarterback for your Cincinnati Bengals, the Royal U, not you personally. 43% owned on Sleeper, 47% on Yahoo. What can you say? The last 3 games, 28 points, 27 points, 22 points. He's thrown for over 300 yards twice, 275, 227 the other 2 times. Last 2 games have been multiple touchdown games. He has basically thrown a pick in every game as well. He's not going to give you much on the ground. He will quarterback sneak if they do get a pass interference or get it down to the 1. They have quarterback sneaked him twice. He does have 2 rushing touchdowns. So the only bad thing is he gets a matchup here with this Pittsburgh defense, but they're a little banged up right now, obviously losing Devontae KZ, and their secondary kind of got really banged up, but he's also missing a big weapon in Jamar Chase.
What do you think with Jamar Chase out?
So that makes a big, that kind of makes a big difference. So I think I'd rather go Baker or Flacco in that situation. At least they have all of their weapons available to them, and it's not they're neither one of them are in as tough of a matchup defensive wise, and have an offense that could put up points to make it more fantasy friendly, if you know what I mean. So,
Yeah. You
so
want
I
the
think
game close.
for all those
So they
reasons,
keep
yeah, I
throwing the
think I'm
ball.
gonna go.
You don't want to
Yeah,
blow
probably
out, so
with
they start
Baker.
running the ball and just whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, drain out the clock and you just get some negative game script. So, but yeah, if you're in a situation, if those other guys aren't available to you, he's definitely someone you can go to. He's been playing pretty well. Another guy here, our next most owned on the list is going to be Joe Flacco, at 31% on Sleeper, 25% on Yahoo. As I mentioned, he's the other guy. I have to decide here. But he's come off the couch and just basically started flinging it. So first game back, plays against the Rams, goes throws the ball. He's thrown the ball for 40 more than 44 times a game, 44, 45, and 44 attempts. He's only completing 23, 26, and 28 of them. But he has, out of his 3 games, 2 of them were over
Percentages
300
at that
yards.
point. It's
Yeah, this
numbers at
last
that
game
point.
against Chicago, which is a tough defense, he put up
Yeah.
374 yards, multiple touchdowns in each game, 2, 3, and 2. So
He's like,
I
what
mean,
do I care, man? I know
Joe,
you're gonna
yeah,
play next year. He's like, whatever, throw the ball out there.
he's having a good time. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's flinging it out there. So Joe Flacco, man, he gets Houston. In Houston, obviously, you hope, you really hope that CJ Stroud plays to, again, make it a little more, fantasy friendly, make it more of a shootout, and kind of a bonanza there at Houston. So you don't have to worry about any elements, which is what I like. So that's, again, my tough decision, man. Do I go with shake and bake, or do I go with the gunslinger here in Flacco, the second coming of like Brett Favre over here?
Shaking and baking.
So yeah, man. So that's the decision I'm going to be probably dreading all off season, I'm sure, because I know I'm going to make the wrong. In the other league, I have to decide between Gino and Flacco, so that's what's even tougher. So like Gino might be ready this next week. So yeah, man, Herbert. Well, because Herbert, man, both of my number one bye week, I'm 11-3, first place, locked up. I had Herbert in both leagues, man, and I don't know what to do now, man. I don't know what to do. I'm glad I had 2 weeks to really think it over here. So,
and they had other people obviously had quarterbacks go down, like myself and other players. So they've been depleting the waiver wire throughout the year, right? Like anybody who was anything worth of something has been picked up or zoned. So it's far and few picks between. You know what I mean? Like it's scraps that you're getting.
Yeah, and I just have to hope that whoever I'm playing, it has one of those backup quarterbacks or something like that. But again, anyone who made it past this last week obviously did well enough. So I think I'm actually playing Bobby. He's coming from the 6th place team, and of course he has Brock Purdy. I'm playing against the MVP. I'm playing against the MVP. He has Purdy and Ayuk. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. All right, so I already know what's going to happen here. That's the worst. I didn't even look at this matchup until right now. You just got my real reaction to that. Oh man, my only other saving grace is he has Jacoby Myers, who hopefully doesn't go off, Brees Hall, but he has Gibbs, he has Kelsey. Yeah, man, that's gonna be a tough week, man. Even as Chuba on the bench, Jaden Reed, he has some good options there, man. So it's gonna be a brawl. So we'll see how it goes, man. Both trying to make it to the chip. We'll see how it goes. All right. So our next top owned quarterback here, if you're looking for a quarterback, is going to be the Gardner Minshew here, quarterback for your Indianapolis Colts. 28% owned on Sleeper, 25% on Yahoo. What can you say about Gardner? We talked about his stats here this week, finishing top 5, 26 points. Kind of is up and down, but gets Atlanta next in Atlanta, playing in a dome, which is nice. Playing in a dome next week as well at home against the Raiders. So he could be used here for the next 2 weeks. You just hope he has a good game. He has a couple 300-yard games. Otherwise it's kind of between 200 and
both of these games
250. But
having him fling the ball out, I don't think they're going to be crushing either of these teams, and I don't think either of these teams will crush them. So they'll be competitive, and they'll have to, keep flinging the ball out there. That's all you want. All you want them is keep attempting passes. The more they do, the more likely you're going to get a touchdown and just fantasy points in general. So
Yeah, well, the one
They've
thing I
just been
don't
set up.
like about it is, remember, we were talking about Atlanta, playing more ball control, running the ball, but I don't think you'll have as many possessions, not as many series as you would get, normally, because they're going to kind of run that clock out and try to keep it within like a one-score game, play field position and, things like that. So that's my only worry. I'd rather, again, be in one of those other games where there's potential shootout ability. But you never know. The ones you think might be low scoring end up being the shootouts and vice versa. So
Yeah, I hate
I
when that
think we
happens,
called
too.
one of those earlier, in the year. Another guy, Mason Rudolph. He's of course getting the start here over Mitch Trubisky, but he's 0% owned on Sleeper, 0% on Yahoo. And after
Final
waivers run
desperation
this
ad.
week, after waivers run this week, those numbers should stay exactly the same. So don't go get Mason
Yeah.
Rudolph. Just
waiver
go
wire.
in another direction here. Go with one of those other guys before you have to go with Rudolph, unless you're like in a 3 QB league or something weird like that, and you have to just grab them. So there we go. So that's the quarterbacks I have. Is there anybody there I'm missing?
I don't think we missed anybody. That's we covered.
Try to
it.
make a thorough
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
All right.
I think considering the week that we're in and the situations that's going on, look at the list like you mentioned that you threw up, and then earlier the guys that you mentioned that are in your top 5 or top 12. We never thought we would even be talking about these guys, let alone
Right.
looking to waiver wire pick these guys up and start them on your fantasy teams. But
It just makes me feel a little more comfortable seeing who the top 12 were this week because of my Herbert situation. Starting a top 12 guy, next week, it just makes me feel a little better. Like it's not as gross as I think it is after I read the list. It's like, oh, okay, the options I have fit in there very well with those names.
Oh, that reminds me. Since we were talking about QBs,
Let's go back to QBs.
That conversation we had about Geno Smith at the beginning of the year, last year, whatever you were talking about. Oh no, he's a good pickup, and he's gonna repeat. I was like, that dude's never gonna repeat what he did.
Yeah, you did call that. He had some
He
games here and there, but being hurt,
it was nowhere.
You can't be mad at him. You can't be mad at him for being hurt, but he
had the
he
one
definitely
good
wasn't what I
that's
thought.
it. He's done. I mean, come on, he's a little old, anyways. It was good for him though. That was good that he had.
He's 33.
But come on.
But yeah, I mean, he had a 35-point game against Dallas, 28 points against Washington. But yeah, other than that, it was between like 11 and 17, 18 points. So yeah, definitely not what I expected.
Yeah.
Never had single digit scoring except for against the Niners. But I mean, it's the Niners, so I can't.
Yeah. But it wasn't like he had last year though. That's the whole point though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
We're only comparing to himself. Anyways,
exactly.
All right, so
so there we go. Running backs. All right, so probably the number one ad. Yeah, number one ad. We've talked about him a lot this show. Ty Chandler, running back, Minnesota. Madison's dealing with that ankle injury. O'Connell says that they will feature him. Remember, he said it twice in his quote. So he's 55% owned on Sleeper, 53% on Yahoo. So there's a good chance he could be out there in your leagues. So try to go snatch him up again if you need a running back this week. If you have Brees or someone like that you're worried about what's going to happen. I feel confident, in Ty Chandler. He'll probably make my top 10, maybe even my top 8, my rankings this week. I'll have to really, kind of see where we're at when I, sit down and look at it. But yeah, Ty Chandler, probably the number one waiver.
Maybe you're like me. You already got him on your team, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, like one of the ones you got, or you're sitting with 3 of the top 5 guys. I'm like, really? You got this guy just waiting. He's waiting. Or he's been waiting for me, I guess is what it is. He's like, all right. Let me put these guys in my lineup. They're just sitting on his bench. His bench has like more than everybody else scored in the whole league.
Crazy, bro.
All your points are on the bench. I know you didn't have to. That's why I'm like, oh man. I was like, oh, okay. I might have had a chance because I saw like your starting lineups only scored like 89. And I'm like, oh, well, he has like 150 points on his bench. So I was like, all right. What's he trying to do to me here?
Scored throughout the year?
Oh, jeez.
I'm like 150 points ahead of the next closest guy or something.
Yeah.
The whole game.
Oh, man. I need you to have a bad week, man.
Yeah,
I need you to have a bad week.
Good luck with that.
I know. I'm just saying that's what I'm going to need. Like, not only do I need my guys to do good, I need your guys to do bad because I think my guys on their best days are not beating your guys on their average days.
Yeah.
Average days. Yeah, and that sucks because we have a ring for that one, man.
Yeah,
brought to you guys from those guys over at TrophySmack.com, man.
That's good time. Let's get a read it real quick.
There you go.
That's good time.
Speaking of rings, speaking of your championships, make sure you guys go check out Underdog. Make sure you guys go check out TrophySmack.com. There we go, man. We just gave out. I was gonna say, yeah, we just gave out. Go ahead. There it is. See, we're rusty. We just gave out the and take off the running back waiver ads. We just gave out the 100,000 or the 1,000 subscriber ring. Ooh, it's getting late, guys. The 1,000 subscriber ring from our boys over here at TrophySmack.com. Congratulations to Neanderthal for winning this bad boy. We're going to be getting it sent out to him soon. It is fully customized, as you will see here. Get Right Fantasy, 100,000 subscribers. But you can customize it for your league with your team name, your logos, the year, the score, whatever it is you want to put on there. You can do it. They have different templates for the rings. You can go with gold, silver. And if you want to go different from the ring, they have your belts, different colors and shapes and sizes as well. Again, all fully customizable. They also have your different trophies, as well as other swag like your Kirk Cousins chains here. So make sure you guys go check out the link down in the description. And when you check out, use that promo code GetRight. This is the time to tell your league mates, let's take our league to the next level and get one of these things in addition to whatever prize money you're playing for. For, again, as little as $7 a person in a 12-person league, you can get one of these customizable rings. So they're not expensive at all to have something you can keep forever to commemorate your
It's all about
championship.
those bragging rights, man. It's all about the bragging rights. We have belts in our league specifically, but we have the new league starting up with the custom ring that we will have, and it's nice. I mean, it's easy, especially if when you move away from each other. It's hard to get a belt to one person, but I mean, at this point, if you get a ring every year, then you could come up and be like 7 rings out. You know what I mean? Like just balling out when you come into your fantasy drafts and you're just like bling blinged out, talking about championship. You know what I mean? You got your necklace on here
during the draft. Yeah,
getting that confidence out there. Let them know what's up. But yeah,
for sure, man. You guys got to check them out, and again, use that promo code GetRight at checkout. All right, so let's finish up these running backs here, man.
Running backs.
Yeah, so that was a good little interlude there. Yep. So our next waiver wire running back is Trey Sermon. So this one, you're not really spending too much fab on this situation because there's a lot of moving parts. You got Moss dealing with that arm injury, plus JT might come back with that thumb. They didn't put him on IR. So there's obviously they did that, so there's a chance he could come back this week or next. After that thumb surgery, Trey Sermon is 0% owned on Sleeper and Yahoo, so he is available out there. So he might be worth an ad just to have, an extra guy, just in case, you never know. Things could happen in practice, this or that. This is championship time, and there is no next week, man. You got to do everything for this week. So if you need a guy, he could be somewhere you go. I believe he had like 17 carries, like 70 yards. Like he did pretty well. Let me see. 17 carries, 88 yards. Didn't find the end zone, but that's 5.18 yard carry or yards per carry, and that's against the Pittsburgh defense. So not bad, and that was on just 43% of the snaps. So Trey Sermon, go check him out. Old Niners guy, if you remember. We also have Justice Hill.
Yeah, that's right. He was, huh?
Yeah, that's our guy. Remember, he was the guy that was actually drafted ahead of Elijah Mitchell. Yes. And then remember, he just couldn't stay healthy. We all thought it was going to be him, and it ended up being Mitchell and all this crazy stuff. And then we just
hurt all the time.
Yeah. So then we just went with McCaffrey, the guy that's been known for getting hurt, apparently or allegedly. And he comes in and has been like literally saying he's the MVP
so far.
Exactly. All right. So we got Justice Hill, running back for your Baltimore Ravens. Due to that Keaton Mitchell ACL injury, he's going to be the change of pace back to Gus, who's is 69% owned on Sleeper, 78% on Yahoo, which is why he didn't quite make our list here, Gus Edwards. But he kind of been losing his work to Mitchell, and Justice Hill actually kind of already had somewhat of a role here on this Baltimore offense.
He had solidified a role for sure.
Right. He was kind of just that third down, type back. Gus Edwards would rarely, he did catch like that one pass for like 40 yards that one week, but that was basically all he's done, all his entire career. Justice Hill, has been playing, about 30% of the snaps. Sometimes he'll get close to 50. But last week he, played only 26, but 5 carries for 23 yards. He did only have 1 target. But we've seen him have, good games in the past. So just, someone to keep your eye on if you just kind of need a potential stash just to see how, maybe this thing works out in case something were to happen in the championship week and you needed a guy, on your
Or if you
bench, or
can't
maybe
get
just to
Ty
block
Chandler and you
somebody.
need somebody.
Yeah. So, there's always a ton of situations. And maybe it's a deeper league, 16 teams, something like that, where
Yeah.
you need to look for someone like this. So there you go. And then I think that's all I have basically
That's
for
it.
running backs. Was there anybody? Oh, 13% on Sleeper, 13% owned on Yahoo. So we'll go on.
Now, as you go later on in the season, obviously, um, most of these guys are owned or earned earlier because people are getting ready for the playoffs and they start handcuffing their own players, which you guys should as well if you have the room and the space, and the guy, the backup guy is decent or serviceable to your starter. You should definitely be handcuffing and picking some of these guys up. If not, being ready to pounce on the Jarek McKinnons and CEHs of the world when the opportunity comes up.
Right.
Because somebody else is get injured, you definitely get the next man up when you can.
Crazy side note on that. I had Madison and somebody else that was ruled out as far as running backs on a dynasty team. Those are the only two other running backs I had. I offered somebody a 3rd round pick for Keaton Mitchell. He declined, or he wanted more. He wanted me to trade him Christian Kirk for Keaton Mitchell on a counter offer. I declined. I ended up putting in a waiver claim for CEH, who was still out there, put him in my starting lineup. I still lost, but it was a good pickup. He did score 20 points in my lineup. So
you don't
I
have
still
in
lost
here.
the league though. And I'm glad I
Some
didn't spend my 3rd on a guy who tore his ACL either. Go ahead.
exactly Zamir White, Vegas.
Yeah, it's because I'm not trusting him next week, man. That's why I
You're
didn't
not
put him
trusting
on
it.
here.
You're like, forget
No,
that. Nah,
I'm
they're
not putting
playing
my
KC.
fantasy championship,
Come on, they play
chance.
KC hard all the time.
It's one of the
dude.
tough defenses out there, man. And we still don't know if Josh Jacobs is even going to play or not.
Out or
So
not, but he's still
he's
waiver
so
wire
far.
worthy.
Yeah, again, maybe if you're in one of those other leagues, and he did have a better showing this last week than we thought. But there's no way. Like, I'd have to be in a dire situation to have to throw. Like, literally, I almost was going to run no running back versus because I could have gotten Abdullah or Zamir White for that league I was telling you about that I put the offers out to Keaton
Yeah.
Mitchell, and I happened to just go with CEH instead. Like, I was like, I didn't even try. Like, I would have literally kept trying to either trade somebody or doing something crazy. Like, just again, it was just basically CEH or no one. So I was like over putting Zamir White or Amir Abdullah. So yeah, that's
Right.
the kind of situation it was in.
Moving on.
Anyway,
We'll get to
all
the
right, we'll
wide
move on.
receiver.
Wide receiver ads. So we have Noah Brown, man. Tank Dell obviously out for the year. Nico Collins still dealing with the calf injury. He's still we don't know what's going to happen with him if he comes back this week. 46% owned on Sleeper, 40% on Yahoo. Coming off a big game here last week with neither Collins nor Dell in the game. Played 86% of the snaps. I believe that was the most he's played all year. Saw 11 targets, which was his first time seeing double-digit targets. Caught 8 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. I think he was targeted on 1 or 2 other touchdowns and deeper passes as well. I think he got a big pass interference penalty called on one of his targets as well too. So yeah, I mean, if there's no Collins, especially if CJ Stroud comes back playing against Cleveland, I'm sure he's going to probably go up against Newsome, which might be a tough, matchup there. But hey, if you're going to see 11, double-digit targets, then I want to try to find a way to get you in my lineup.
I think he's the number 1 wide receiver waiver wire ad as well because he used to be a Cowboy. He's doing good as a 3rd wide receiver over there in Dallas. They just couldn't keep him on no more. And as you mentioned with the Tank Dell injury, Nico Collins still with the calf injury, and I think even with Nico comes back, it actually helps Noah Brown to still be a part of the offense. And yeah, I'd definitely be looking at him first before the other next 2 guys that we're talking about here.
Yeah, whenever someone was missing those 2 games, when it was either Dell or Collins, he's put up more than 20 fantasy points, 27, 24, and 22, and that's in full PPR in this league here. So
yeah, so if either one of those guys are out, you're doing all right with them.
there you go. All right, my number 2 guy I have here on the waiver wire list for wide receivers is Curtis Samuel. He's basically the wide receiver 2 there. He's definitely jumped well over Dotson at this point. One of my most drafted guys on Underdog this offseason. He was, I think, in my top 5 Him and Sam Howell were those late round, guys that I got basically on every team, no matter what pick I had. I just drafted him in that bottom part of the round. But he's 47% owned on Sleeper, 37% owned on Yahoo. He had a great game this last game. I believe some of it happened, with Brissett during that time that he came in, but scores 21 full PPR points, played 72% of the snaps. I believe that was he played 74% earlier in the year. But 9 targets, 5 catches, 41 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And didn't see any rushes, but we all know, or maybe he did see rushes. Sleeper doesn't have the rushing stats here. Did he put up any rushing stats?
No.
Okay. But we all know,
I'm looking at the
he could
stats
be.
too.
Okay. Remember in Carolina, they used him a lot, on the ground. They've done it
Yeah.
somewhat here with Washington as well. So he's always that threat, on the goal line. He's just somebody, Taysom Hill-like. Whereas if he's in around the goal line, there's, a lot of chance that he might be the one that's scoring that touchdown. So especially with no Brian Robinson in there to punch it in, it doesn't surprise me that Samuel scored 2 touchdowns. So we'll move on here. Next guy I have on the list is Dontavian Wicks. So he made it here on the waiver wire list because, of course, you have the injury to Christian Watson dealing with that hamstring. We don't know if he'll be back this game. And then you have Jaden Reed, who I mentioned earlier, came into the week with an ankle injury, got off the injury report heading into the game, but then suffered a toe injury in the fourth quarter, left the game and did not return. He's only Wicks is only 7% owned on Sleeper, 4% on Yahoo. And like I said, he played his career high snap, 78% this last week, 6 catches on 7 targets for 97 yards. So not a bad day in the office there. So just someone to maybe keep your eye on if those two guys are out.
Coming out of nowhere, and Jordan Love likes this guy, so he's definitely targeting him 6 to 7 for 97 yards. It's not bad numbers, right? So definitely a beneficiary. Again, these guys come stepping up to the plate after somebody else goes down.
There you go.
I'd still be ranking him Noah, Brown, Wicks, then Samuel. Take it my order.
Oh, really? I go Brown, Samuel, Wicks, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, so there we go. What else we got here? Tight ends, man. I got 2 of them on the list here just to throw some on there. Got Isaiah Likely. He's just at that threshold, 64% owned on Sleeper, 62 on Yahoo. Gets the Niners this week, so that's why I was a little reluctant. But again, we talked about what Trey McBride just did against them. Then you have Tucker Kraft also coming from this Green Bay team, 14% owned on Sleeper, 10% on Yahoo. Obviously, Luke Musgrave is out of the picture, dealing with that like ruptured spleen or whatever it was he is dealing with there. But yeah, not bad. Any other tight ends you have out there you want to mention?
Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry. A second double-digit game here in the past 2 weeks, once against Pittsburgh and then versus KC now. Facing Denver next. They're tough matchups, but he seems to be, producing the numbers. He had 2 touchdowns against Pittsburgh, 1 touchdown against KC. I'm not sure if he's going to get a touchdown against Denver here, but I mean, he's getting 7 to 9 targets for 66 yards. I'd be happy even with just that as a waiver wire pickup for a tight end. So somebody to be looking at.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else really that much
that
I could think of. Kadon kind of is a burner. He's a fool's gold type of guy. You never know when he's going to get the touchdown on that guy. So I think that's as far as I'll go. This Hunter Henry, just desperation ads. People even picked up Michael Mayer or something like that from Las Vegas. But
there you go.
Again, desperation ads at that point. Depending
There you
on
go.
what you got left, right?
Absolutely. All right, so there we go. So that'll wrap up our top waiver wire ads. We'll get here into the chat here, and then we'll call it a night. So we have
we got all kinds of stuff going on. Shoot.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh yeah, kind of. Yeah, we
what's up, dude?
Got in a little zone. We got Tycoon in the house. He says he's not trusting Zamir either, so he's on my side with that one. We don't want anything to do with Zamir. He says no chance he's playing in a playoff matchup. He doesn't care what he did last week. So we feel exactly the same right there. We got Ted Nasty in the house. What's up, Ted Nasty? That's a new name to me. So if you're new here to us at Get Right Fantasy, man, Make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. And if you happen to be subscribed already, hit that like button for us. Helps us out just as much. That goes for anybody that's watching right now. If you do have any questions or anything, drop them in the chat here. We'll get to it before we sign off here because we just went over that 2-hour mark. So we've been putting it in tonight. Overreacting. Had a lot of stuff on our chest.
Yeah.
Had a lot of stuff we had to get off our chest.
First time back, I feel refreshed. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah, see, it's an outlet.
So now we're in fantasy playoffs. We're like, yes.
This is what we play for. This is why we're here. Absolutely. He says,
with the panda. Let's go.
There we go. Ted Nasty says, CMC sent me to the second round of the fantasy playoffs. Absolute beast. There we go. Yeah. I almost gave him my game ball. I should have gave it to him. He gets a co-game ball just because he's the man. Tycoon agrees. He says he also started Tucker Craft, and he had a flute game. So yeah, we were just kind of talking about him there. But yeah, I mean, it was a decent game. Yeah, played 95% of the snaps, 4 catches on 6 targets, 57 yards and a touchdown. So not bad. 17.7 points in a full PPR league. You'll take that from a tight end. That's for sure. Yeah. They're just saying, yeah, that was awesome. There we go. He says in a 14-person league. So yeah, he needed that CMC. Ooh, 40 points in a 14-person league is basically you win the week as long as your other guys did decent. So he said his injuries this year, both for the year and currently, Rodgers, Andrews, Dell, Stroud, Robinson, Johnson, Watson, and just got Shaheed back. Man, and he's still playing. So there you go. That's how you manage your team, Ted Nasty. So there you go, man.
He's getting into the second round. That's good.
That's awesome, man. That's how you manage a team. Getting those waiver wire ads, man. You got to get them. Pull that thing together. Frankenstein that thing together, man, and get into the playoffs here strong. Tycoon's tripping on likely being owned in over 60% of leagues there, 64%. He says that's stunning.
That came early, after his predecessor went down. Andrews went down.
Mark Andrews, yeah. That's what Ted Nasty here is saying.
Yeah, it was like everybody went after likely. Then he had the letdown game, and it was like,
and everybody dropped him, and then they all picked him up again after he scored the touchdown.
He had a decent game. Then they were like, okay, maybe just whatever. And he's actually put two games together now. So let's see what happens.
There you go. Tycoon agrees with you in regards to Henry. He says spot on. Frank had to plug him in the last couple of weeks out of desperation, and that dude has been balling with Zappy somehow. Yeah. So there we go. He says, oh man, the juice is really flowing in these weeks. Really is. Plus the holidays and hopefully time off coming up. It's easy to be in a better mood and ready to rip. Yeah, man. But hey, Christmas is going to be awful this year for a lot of people, man. Like, if you don't move on, Christmas is just going to be like, man, what's wrong with you? Because I know that's how I'm going to be. I'm going to be like, this is great and all, man, but I just 16 weeks of work are just done now. Like, what am I going to do with myself if I don't have a team to manage, man? So enjoy these last couple of weeks, guys, because it's almost done, man. It's almost done. He said he thought it would actually be in the 70s or 80s. Oh, so he said it was shockingly low. Shockingly low. Okay. There we go. I think it was because they dropped him that one week, and so then people were iffy on him, like we just mentioned. So he says, "Oh, my team's 100% Frankenstein together at this point. It's a total skeleton crew." So there we go, man. That's how you do it. That's how you bring home these championships. They're not easy. They're not easy, man. It's a war of attrition, a lot of luck, some skill, a little bit of skill.
I think you got to
man.
Stay focused with your teams. Be on the waiver wire weekly if you need to, especially with the number of injuries that you had, Ted Nasty. You definitely were waiver wired throughout the year. So
don't give up, man. You just got to keep it trucking, man. Keep it trucking. So you got to zig when others are zagging, man, as we like to say. So there we go. He said it's going to be awful for the Ravens fans. I'll tell you that. So talking about this Niners Ravens game going on right here. He says, oh man, getting eliminated on Christmas would suck. So yeah, man, it's definitely going to suck.
Here's your Lipical.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see who's been naughty and nice this year, man. So good luck to you guys out there, man. Yeah, so that's how we'll end it here. Again, make sure you guys go check out our boys over at underdogfantasy.com before we get out of here. It's a best ball platform. You want to change the little Trophy Smack logo off of there?
Yeah, I got you.
It's the best ball platform, so means no waivers, no trades. No setting your lineups each week. You just draft a team, kind of like a mock draft. Set it and forget it. And they have their big tournaments, or you could just play in like 12-person leagues, just like your standard home type league. So make sure you go check them out. Once the season starts, I like to do their pick'ems, man. So it's just basically picking higher or lower. And, you know, in total yards, points, you know, they even have defensive guys, tackles, picks, touchdowns, you know, whatever it is. You just pick higher or lower, whatever number they have set. And you could double or 20 times your money. But make sure you use that promo code GetRight when you do sign up and download the app from your app store. When you do, you will get the 100% deposit match up to $100. So it's basically just free money. So go check it out. And in addition to the deposit match, if you sign up now between Thursday, you'll get a special new customer special, basically a free pick on the pick'ems, higher or lower than half a total yard for Matt Stafford on this upcoming Thursday game. So make sure you go check out underdogfantasy.com and download the app in your app store today.
And I got to tell you, I was looking at those pick'ems, and they even given extra multipliers on some of these players or some of these like you know, higher or lowers that you want to look at. It's you get the opportunity to make quite a few bucks, man. I mean, just doing three players, four, you know, with $5. Shoot, you end up like $75 on that. I mean, I'm like,
there you go.
Like, wait a minute here, hold on. That's a good money here.
Gonna have fun, but only play with what you can lose and play responsibly, guys. Play responsibly. Exactly. All right, man. So let's get out of here. We got Ted Nasty saying, "Have a great night. The good energy is contagious." We like to have it, man. That's what we're here to do, man. Overreact, have some fun, for sure, man. Love it, man. We appreciate the support. We'll be back here on Wednesday. We got our boy here who's been in the chat, our newest addition here to the Get Right Fantasy family, Mr. Tycoon, with the Fantasy Boardroom airing here on the Get Right Fantasy Network on Wednesday. Later on, after that show, I'll be on here just doing a quick update or recap on our listener league team. So we have 4 different leagues that you can potentially get in here through the channels. So we'll give an update on those. On who advanced and who still has their opportunity to win the championship there. So we'll make it a quick Wednesday night, but I will be here to, of course, answer your questions. We're back here Fridays doing start sit. We go game by game, let you know who we're starting, who we're sitting. And then Classic Mike's here on Sunday morning. For those guys we can't answer those questions for on Friday, we'll get out there and do it Sunday morning once we have the last minute actives and inactives. Getting your lineups right up until kickoff. So
yeah, we got to get the listener league update.
Yeah, so I just did it on Wednesday. We went through the drafts, see who drafted the teams. We compared it to their current team to see kind of what trades or pickups they made. So it was really cool kind of looking back and then seeing, like who, a lot of the teams, I think 3 out of the 4 teams, the number 1 pick made it into the playoffs, but one of the number 1 picks didn't. So it was just really, kind of cool looking back at, those type of things. I don't think any of the 12 pace people made it in. Made it top 6. So it was just kind of interesting seeing that kind of stuff. So we'll dive into more of that on Wednesday. Oh, and you'll be here with me for that too. So that's what I did when you weren't here. And since we're past trade deadline, so just try to think of some stuff to fill the time. But yeah, so other than that, man, we'll get back at it here. We got Fantasy Fish, who I lost to, man, in the Filthy Fantasy Football podcast league. Because I sat Olave, so Fantasy Fish is who I lost to. So congratulations, man. I would have had you if I didn't make a rookie mistake, man. 16 leagues. I already thought I had taken Olave out of all of them, and he was the one that got stuck in there. And I noticed literally at 10:02, and I was going to text and see if someone could change it really quick, but I already know the rules. I don't want to put the commissioner in that type of situation. It's a podcast league. I should know better. So congratulations and take it down since he beat me. Yeah, I'm a little butthurt on that. But what's up, Fish? Appreciate you coming in and supporting the stream, my guy. So yeah, make sure you guys go check out the Filthy Fantasy Football show if you like some of your fantasy football after dark, so to speak. So it's definitely an adult show with their innuendos and whatnot there. But hilarious, funny guys. Him, King Josh, and the guys over there, man. A ton of fun. So make sure you check out their podcast too. All right. So before we're here for another half hour, you guys all have a good night. Appreciate the support here tonight. For Frank here, for Tycoon, for Dustin, and for Classic Mike. We're out. We'll see you back here on Wednesday. Good luck this week, and let's take home those championships, fellas. Let's do it. We're out of here. Peace.
Yeah.
Wanted to write fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided.